beautiful, mild, 41-degree day in Denver. The usual capacity crowd, better than 76,000, have turned out here at Mile High Stadium for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. John Elway and his Broncos come off a shootout win over the Baltimore Ravens last week. Elway with another magnificent day, while Marcus Allen and his Chiefs defeated Seattle in their last outing. And today Marcus is in position to tie Hall of Famer Walter Payton for most rushing touchdowns in NFL history. He is one away. The Kansas City Chiefs are one game away from the Denver Broncos, who lead the AFC West with a record of 6-1. Their only loss to the Chiefs back in Week 4. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Sam Weish, and it's been a terrific start for the Broncos. They're number one in total offense, tied for first in total defense, and John Elway has certainly benefited because for the first time since 1991, he actually has a 1,000-yard rusher in his backfield in second-year man Terrell Davis, who's off to a spectacular start, coming into today leading the NFL in rushing.
And John Elway feels like this may be the best offense he's ever played on, and in part because teams don't come in here to stop John Elway in order to stop the Denver Broncos. They have to stop the running of Terrell Davis. And Derek Thomas told us last night that he reminds him in style of Emmitt Smith, and that's high praise indeed.
And similar to what took place in that earlier meeting, the Kansas City Chiefs feel if they are to beat Denver today, they must put pressure on Elway. And the key guys, as always, Neil Smith and Derek Thomas.
And between the two of them, they have 30 sacks against John Elway in their previous 15 meetings. But in the last 3 weeks, these two guys have only gotten 1 sack each. They're going to have to play better than that to beat John Elway, Terrell Davis, and the Denver Broncos.
All right, we'll be hearing this deafening crowd right throughout. They are pumped here at Mile High. Back with the opening kickoff from Denver in a moment. City has won the toss, and they will receive as we get ready for the 73rd meeting between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. Series that dates back to the old AFL in 1960. A look at the scoreboard. San Francisco with only a 1-point lead on Houston. Steve Young going down early in that game. Just a couple of minutes remaining. Final score, Pittsburgh squeaking by Atlanta 20-17. Philadelphia over Carolina. Philly coming off the impressive win over Miami last week with Ty Detmer doing the job. Green Bay in front. Giants surprisingly leading Detroit by the big margin. And Cincinnati under Bruce Coslett for the first time in front of their game. And Baltimore by 2 over St. Louis late in the game. Tamarick Vanover getting set to receive the kickoff from Jason Elam. There is Vanover, who this season has been banged up, returned from the cracked ribs earlier, but also bothered by assorted injuries, a bruised hip, sore knee, turf toe. But Marty Schottenheimer delighted to have him back in the lineup. And this one is underway. Vanover from the goal line. And hit inside the 15-yard line. Excellent coverage by the Broncos, led by Ernest Jones. Just a 15-yard return by Vanover. Look at the Kansas City offensive line. They've played well. They have not allowed a sack the last 2 games. Alt, Zott, Grunhart, Shields, and Sigler. The quarterback, Steve Bono. Running backs, Marcus Allen, Kendall Anders. We'll also see much of Todd McNair and Donnell Bennett. Chiefs starting from the 14. And Bono dumps it off. Marcus Allen with a short pickup. Stopped by the weak side linebacker, the rookie John Mobley. Let's check out the Broncos defensive unit. Dan Williams, a question mark, hurt his knee once again last week in the game against the Ravens, but he is in the starting lineup with Lotish, Michael Dean Perry, Alfred Williams, who has 7.5 sacks. Linebackers have played well. Mobley, Aldridge, Bill Romanowski, a terrific pickup. Crockett and Washington at the corners. Braxton and Atwater are the safeties. 2nd down and 7. And a give to Allen, and he is bottled up. Michael Dean Perry getting the reps, along with Bill Romanowski to stop Marcus Allen inside the 20. Marcus Allen who says he's hurting a bit. Sam, how did he describe it? He has an extremely low back injury.
Extremely low back. That's like your buttocks muscle.
Exactly.
But it's extremely low.
I knew you would clear it up.
Yes, especially when you're sitting down. It's even lower.
3rd and 4 at the 20. We're just underway. And Bono able to rifle it for the first down, connecting with Damon Hughes. A pickup of 12, met by the extra defensive back, Torrey James.
Just an inside route by Damon Hughes. Motion comes inside to hold the linebackers. You can see the outside technique by the corner. Inside, the ball's thrown where really you're going to have to foul the man, or you're going to have to come across and run the risk of him catching it and making the long run afterwards. Big first down in the first drive.
So the Chiefs at their 32-yard line. Allen and Anders are the running backs. That is Vanover in motion. And a big hole. Marcus Allen tripped up short of the first down. Good job by the Chiefs offensive line.
This offensive line has been together. They've started every game this season, and it's important for your offensive linemen to be together. Watch, right? The hole is going to open up right in here. There it is. Nobody waiting except for a linebacker, Alan Aldridge. First guy to get him, and it's 4 or 5 yards downfield.
The Chiefs have won the last 3 games against the Broncos, and they have won the last 2 here at Mile High, which is very difficult to do. On a 2nd down and 3, Anders tried to spin, but he was stopped. John Mobley, first-round draft pick, the 15th player selected out of Kutztown in Pennsylvania, the same school that produced Buffalo's all-pro wide receiver, Andre Reed. John Mobley, incidentally, Sam, Denver's first ever draft pick from Kutztown.
And they're not really, you can tell by the way they talk about it, they have high hopes, and they think they had a good pick, but they aren't sure exactly how long it's going to be before he fulfills all of those hopes.
3rd and 2. And the Broncos clip off the ball. Anders stopped by the middle linebacker, Alan Aldridge.
Saw the hole. That was his gap to fill. Defenses in short yardage situations like that make sure that somebody has each gap. The gap meaning the space between each offensive lineman, between the guard and the tackle and so forth. Just a straight running game. And we thought this would be a running afternoon for both sides of the ball. Didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage.
So the punting team has come on. Louis Aguiar will kick away to Rod Smith, who has made it back from a broken collarbone suffered back in August. Look out, bad snap. Let's see what Aguiar does with it. And now is able to get it away. A little improvising by Aguiar, and did a great job getting it down to the 10-yard line.
He sure did. I'm surprised there were no flags. Usually you're going to have people downfield on a delayed punt.
That ends up as a 51-yard punt. Said as we're headed to commercial, you were surprised there was no penalty. Well, there was as we were in commercial. Jerry Markwright with the announcement. Ineligible receiver downfield, Tony Richardson of the Broncos. So Aguiar gets another opportunity, and a 51-yarder is erased. This is Rod Smith working his way to the 45. Rod Smith making his first appearance as a punt return man. Todd Kinchin had been returning punts, but has had some fumble problems. 19-yard return by Smith. Toronto, Marv Albert with Sam Weish. We're just underway, and the Denver Broncos will go to the offense for the first time. It is the #1 total offense in the league. A very strong offensive line that has done a great job, sparked by Gary Zimmerman, perennial all-pro player. The quarterback is John Elway. The running backs, Terrell Davis, who leads the NFL in rushing coming into today, and Aaron Craver, who has played well. And the receivers, Anthony Miller, who feels he has not gotten the ball as much as he would like. Ed McCaffrey coming off a 3-touchdown game last week against the Ravens. And the premier tight end in the league in Shannon Sharpe, who last week had 9 receptions, 161 yards, and killed the Chiefs in that earlier meeting.
You'll see John Elway go to him a lot in the clutch situations when they need those strategic first downs to keep the drive going. We'll talk about Anthony Miller a little bit later, but it's a little discouraging to hear a guy complaining about not getting the ball when his team's doing so well win-loss wise.
Broncos from their 45-yard line. Off the roll, Elway going short range, has Craver, and he coughed it up. But it's covered up by Ed McCaffrey. Very quick to get to the ball. Good pop by James Hasty.
That's just a little bootleg, or what's called a waggle. You fake to the right. Just at the end of the play, you can see the hit. Ball helmet right on the ball. Ed McCaffrey, though, is coming back, as all good blockers downfield should be, coming back to make a block, and there's the ball, and he gets, quote, lucky. He's right where the ball, right where he should be to recover it.
And it is a pickup of 9, a 2nd and 1 at the 46-yard line. McCaffrey, 87, in motion. Elway throwing deep and has Sharpe. Touchdown. A 46-yard pass play. Shannon Sharpe with his 6th touchdown reception of the season.
Shannon Sharpe is one of those players that catches the ball with his hands. You'll see it all day today. Now this one, he's got to reach out to catch it in full extension, full stride, almost a wide receiver as a tight end. He is a wide receiver as a tight end. He can run like a wide receiver and catch the ball just as well.
Hit him with the extra point. Wait a second, you say he catches with his hands.
As opposed to in his body. Catch the ball with your fingers in your hands, much safer way to catch.
So Denver striking early. They lead Kansas City 7-0. Conversation with the two linebackers who were beaten by Shannon Sharpe, Tracy Simeon, and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had a superb game last week against Seattle. Tracy Simeon had his hands full with Sharpe in the earlier meeting, although he felt, you read the quotes, thought he did a good job against him. 9 catches for Sharpe in that first meeting at Arrowhead. Got away from McNair. Vanover now starts back and gets to the 15-yard line. Some confusion by Kansas City.
Well, the kick was low. It was one of those spirals that is up and down, and it takes that funny hop. Wasn't handled very well. Back to the touchdown. Now watch the shift right here. This ball carrier, the running back has to be completely still. Watch his feet. They're still moving when the motion started. This is just the kind of thing that when you look at the films, you say that's illegal procedure, but each crew calls it a little bit differently. Some of them are real picky, some of them let it get away with that kind of movement.
And in this instance, they let it get away.
Absolutely. Jerry Martin's crew didn't think that was significant.
All right, Kansas City's first drive started on its own 14. This one from the 15, and Bono's pass is dropped. Kimball Andrews not able to hand on. A low pass that was thrown. Good pressure also from the right defensive end, Alfred Williams.
Alfred Williams played for me at Cincinnati. He is a big, rangy guy. He's on top of it. You see his hands go up. He bats a lot of balls down because he times the throw, and he's got such a long reach that he can anticipate the throw and knock him away.
He spent 4 years with the Bengals, a year with 49ers, signed with Denver as a free agent. 7.5 sacks. He had 2 in the game last week. 2nd down and 10. And it's Allen on the slant. The acceleration by Marcus Allen. Picked up 6. Met by the strong side linebacker, Bill Romanowski. The Denver Broncos coming at 6-1. Best record in the AFC. It's their best start since 1989. Kansas City Chiefs 5 up, 2 down. They started the year 4-0. Lost to San Diego and Pittsburgh. Had a bye and then beat Seattle 10 days ago in a Thursday night game at Arrowhead, 34-16. It is a 3rd and 4 at the 21-yard line. And Bono goes incomplete. Intended for Vanover.
Nervous throw. Alfred Williams on the play, on the first down play, got right in his face quick. Alfred Williams was rushing that time. He could feel him around him and didn't know how close he was. And when you're a quarterback and you reach back to throw the ball, you don't want anybody grabbing you because that's why you pull a shoulder out. I think that time he just stepped up there and tried to yank it out there real quick without a full motion and fell short.
Rod Smith in his second year out of Missouri Southern. A good return on that first punt. Louis Aguilar had a 51-yarder erased. Oh, and that one is off the side of the foot. A penalty nullifying the first punt, and then Rod Smith was able to get return. Here's Smith again down the sideline, cuts the other way, across the 40 inside the 35. Ball down by Reggie Tung. Rod Smith, who has taken over the punt return duties from Todd Kinchin, takes this one 37 yards.
As you look at this return, you're going to see what looks to be a potential clip, but as long as the blocker's head is in front of the tackler, see it right up here at the top. Maybe we're not going to quite. There it is right there. His head was in front. It's a legal clip. You can hit him anywhere as long as it's above the waist. Nothing below the waist on any change of possession like a punt. 8 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. The Broncos with a 7-0 lead on a touchdown pass. Elway's 15th of the season. 46-yarder combining with Shannon Sharpe. Running backs Davis and Craver. And here's Davis touching for the first time. And he's tripped up at the 32-yard line. Terrell Davis, 6th round draft pick, gunning for his second straight 1,000-yard season. A look at the Kansas City front four. Familiar names: Smith, Phillips, Saliamua, and Booker. Outstanding in the linebacking core with Derek Thomas, Tracy Simeon, Anthony Davis, and perhaps the best secondary in the NFL, Carter, Washington, Collins, and Hasty. 2nd down and 7 at the 31. Elway able to rifle it for the first down, combining with Sharpe, who was covered by the strong safety, Brian Washington. Shannon Sharpe's like a wide receiver. He goes in motion just like a receiver would be. They had Dwayne Carswell in there playing the true tight end position. Motion's going to start across, or has already started across. Straight drop back pass. Solid base zone blocking. We're going to see that today, and the running game.
And a first down at the 23. Elway fumbled the snap. And the Chiefs say they have it. But they do not. Recovered by the Broncos. Looked like Elway was able to get it back.
I like to see that decision made quickly before the pileup starts. You know, I think if there's anything that the league should take up is when there is a fumble and that pileup starts, some way to regulate, get everybody away from that ball so that nothing happens underneath the pile, take the ball away from the recovering ball player.
Anthony Miller to the right. Ed McCaffrey to the left. 2nd and 10. It's back to the ground for Davis. And they have bottled him up. A short pickup. Terrell Davis became the lowest drafted player in the history of the NFL to run for more than 1,000 yards. That last season, 1,117. 21 backs selected before Davis in the 95 draft. And the scenario this season, 817 coming in. He's picked up 53 first down. Leads the NFL in 4 separate categories. 3rd down and 9. Elway's pass deflected.
They went with 5 wide receivers, actually 4 plus Shannon Sharpe. In that situation, he is virtually a wide receiver, all spread out, nobody in the backfield, 5 offensive linemen blocking the first 5 rushers. Anybody else that comes, he has to throw the ball hot to a quick receiver. John Elway's been doing this for a long time. He can sense it coming, tries to throw it. And Talimoa just timed it up, reached up there and knocked it down. Good field position, though. At the start of this drive, it's going to result in nothing more than a field goal.
A 40-yarder by Elam. And Denver up 10-0. Under 6 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The Broncos with a 10-0 lead on the Chiefs. Jason Elam a moment ago kicked a 40-yard field goal, getting set to kick it off to Tamarick Vanover. Chiefs had an adventure in that last kick return. And here's Vanover across the 10. Puts the speed on. Gets across the 40. Elam is back. Vanover inside the 20, and he goes all the way. A 96-yard kickoff return by Vanover. And Tamarick Vanover brings the Chiefs back into it.
Vanover came to the Chiefs after starring at Florida State, where he ran his first 2 kickoffs ever, back for touchdowns. His first kickoff return ever in the National Football League was a 99-yard kickoff return. Probably looked a lot like this one. Just good, solid blocking up front. He bowled out to the left, turned on the speed.
And the point after by Pete Stoyanovich. Tamarick Vanover, of course, no stranger to the end zone when it comes to kickoff returns. Denver now by 3.
Why is 360 as likely to be given a whirl at the Ballet Russe as it is in the backfield? Stay tuned. Complete circle, and to completely demoralize a defender. So you might say that pirouettes put a positive spin on the game and raise rushing to an art form.
A move that Mikhail Baryshnikov couldn't make.
7-yard kickoff return. That is tied now for the 4th longest kick return in Chiefs history, and the 3rd of his career. He had 2 last season, and that is a franchise record for the Chiefs. Denver now leading Kansas City 10-7. And Stoyanovich will kick it off. The deep man, born Hebron, one-time Philadelphia Eagle. And here's Hebron out across the 15. And accelerates to the 30-yard line. 25-yard return by Hebron. Well, Tamarick Vanover with some similar moments, similar to what we saw with the 97-yard return. He began last season, literally the opening kickoff of the season for the Chiefs. 99 yards for a score against the Seattle Seahawks. Going straight down the sideline. No shot for the Seahawks. Then the day before Christmas, also against Seattle, he victimized the Seahawks for 89 yards and the touchdown. Vanover was one of only 2 players in the NFL last season to take a pair of kickoffs back for touchdowns. Terrell Davis goes for 15, stopped by Mark Collins. And one more look, this just moments ago, a 97-yard return. And Marty Schottenheimer, Sam telling us last night, well, he's still banged up, doesn't have the full speed going, but not bad. Only Elam, the kicker, had a shot.
You know, he's had rib injuries, a knee, and he's playing hard. Runs flat-footed, Marty said, but he runs fast flat-footed.
First down at the 45 for the Broncos, just under 5 remaining in this first quarter. Elway to a wide-open Anthony Miller. Hauled down by the free safety, Mark Collins, and that's good for 31. What protection, though, for John Elway.
Protection is one thing, but blowing the coverage down the field is another. The protection that John Elway has gotten all season long continues. Look at this. He's got time to see it. Look at the vision he's got right here. No one in between. Mark Collins' job, though, is to be in that deep center field. He wasn't there, and that's why the receiver was so wide open.
Anthony Miller with only his 23rd catch of the season. He's a 5-time Pro Bowl player. 6 years with San Diego. It's his 3rd year with Denver. Had 59 receptions last year. Had 84 with the Chargers in '93. And as we mentioned earlier, not happy that he has not been getting the ball more frequently.
Wants the ball more, but he's got to catch the ball every time it comes to him. He's got catchable plays. But this is a receiver with a lot of speed. They have to respect him, and they'll get double coverage over there on him a lot today.
There were a couple of drops last week against the Ravens. First down at the 24-yard line, and on the slant, it is Davis. Protects the ball so well. Taken down by Derek Thomas. And James Hasty, next champions, the USGA Year in Review next Saturday right here on NBC. Second down and 8. And that was an attempted swing pass for Davis.
And Anthony Davis came in as the blitzing linebacker, gave no time for that one to develop. everybody out of that backfield immediately. There was no extra blocker in there. That ball was designed to be thrown quick.
Elway, as you see, 4 of 6 for the 94 yards and a touchdown.
I don't know how you defend this offense. With Sharpe, the receivers, Anthony, or with Terrell Davis coming out of that backfield, no wonder he thinks this is the best offense he's ever played on. John Elway does.
3rd and 8 from the 22, and a bullet pass that is caught for the first down by Rod Smith. Only a second catch of the season. Stopped by James Hasty. It's a pickup of 12, and Hasty shaken up on the play.
Here's Rod Smith. Broken collarbone earlier in the season. Doesn't seem to be bothering him now. He'll go right in the middle and get it. James Hasty is still on the ground. Made the initial contact right there. And you know, it looked like a clean hit, but sometimes you have done everything right, and the impact is such it just connects the wrong way. They have great equipment in this league. Everybody is well protected. They know how to fall. They know how to deliver blows. But the injuries are still, you never know when you walk out there if you're going to walk off.
James Hasty having another outstanding year, but he has been hit by injury. Sat out the game a couple of weeks back against the Steelers with an injured wrist, and then returned against Seattle. This is second season with the Chiefs. After
you can see the injury. Watch his head right here. That's probably where the impact is. You know, it doesn't take a lot of steps, like whiplash in a car wreck. You get bumped from behind, that car behind you don't have to be going too fast.
The weekly poll question asking, how long can we take Sam Weiss? No, I'm sorry, sir. How long would you stick with a coach before replacing him if the team was not winning? That was intended for Sharpe.
What's the difference between those? Keep Fleischer.
But Sam, it is all at NBC.com/sports. You get a lot of questions asked in your direction.
I get a lot of.
Obviously, don't just take the time out as Randy has to field the questions. And then some people go, a little extra.
Yeah, some people take cheap shots, much like
exactly.
yourself.
It is a second down and 10 at the 10, actually just outside the 10-yard line. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Elway throwing for the end zone for Sharpe. Touchdown! He beat the linebacker, Derek Thomas. Second time this first quarter that Elway and Sharpe have hooked up. For Sharpe, his 7th touchdown of the season, and Elway among the leaders throwing his 16th.
And the second time that Shannon Sharpe has beaten a linebacker to catch the ball. That's good game planning because they are matching him up with linebacker.
And the point after by Jason Elam, extending to a 17-7 Denver lead.
Sharpe in motion. They don't use him as a true tight end all the time. And then just a beautiful touch pass just over the defender. See, the defender never sees the ball coming. And when you're running with a receiver, you're watching his reaction to the ball as it arrives. Shannon Sharpe didn't give him a long enough look. The ball dropped right in.
And for Sharpe, that is his 3rd catch of the day. He leads NFL tight ends in pass receptions by a considerable margin. He is actually on pace for 110 catches. The record for a tight end is 95 by Todd Christensen, who did it with the Raiders in 1986. And in his 7 years against Kansas City, Sharpe has had a very fine time. He now has 66 receptions and 8 touchdowns. And Marty Schottenheimer in yet another discussion with the linebacker, this time Derek Thomas.
One more look at Shannon Sharpe coming in motion. Touchdown just a moment ago. Ball will be snapped on the hip of the tackle. There's the snap. Quarterback looks straight down the field. When he sees that matchup, linebacker versus Shannon Sharpe, just throw the ball and let Shannon do his thing.
I don't know, Sam. Is Tamarick Vanover well rested enough? It was just moments ago he took the kickoff 97 yards. Here we go again. Vanover across the 20, and this time gang tackle. led by Detron Smith. Vanover is taken down. He runs it back for 19.
I'll guarantee you, when they came off the field on the last kickoff return, when he went 97 yards for a touchdown, they had a lot of conversation about how they'd stop him the next time. And they did. You know, the main thing about a kickoff coverage is everybody staying in their lane, so that you're forcing him back to more people, so that help is always on the way.
Well, this crowd urging on the defense, also trying to make things even more difficult for the Chiefs. They start out at the 22-yard line, and the quick pitch over the middle to Keith Cash, who is stacked up by the middle linebacker, Alan Aldridge. Keith Cash, bothered by a sprained knee early in the season, missed 3 games. In fact, the Kansas City 3 tight ends have all been hit by injuries. This is the first time that all 3 have been available for the same game. Cash and Derek Walker and Reggie Johnson. Pick up a 5, a 2nd and 5 at the 27. 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Kimball Anders could not get going. Try to make the cut, but he was taken down. Ma'a Tonuvasa, second year from Hawaii, was the first.
What was that
to
again?
Get to him. Clear to me.
I wanted to say Kazunite there for a minute. Kimball Anders with the counter play. You see the guard, the tackle pulling in front. The action started to the right and then back to the left, fooling nobody. Going into this drive, Kansas City only had 30 yards, and they picked up about 5 more. 35, Denver, 137 yards.
3rd and 6 at the 26. Bono in trouble. And throw it away. Kimball Anders in the area covered by Bill Romanowski. And the Broncos doing it on both sides of the ball. They've done it offensively, and they have done it defensively. Kansas City's only score was on that 97-yard kick return.
In talking to Denver players yesterday, you know, they talked about maybe they were going to have to blitz Bono to get pressure on him. They really haven't had to do that. The pressure has been there. Kansas City actually looks out of sync as this game begins.
And here's Aguiar from his 10. Rod Smith is back. And a good punt by Aguiar. Smith. Rod Smith looking very sharp, getting it to the 30-yard line. Went for 12 after a beautiful 58-yard punt. Smith taken down by Greg Mineski. And the Denver Broncos back to the offense with a minute to go in this first quarter. Well, the report on James Hasty, the injury to his right wrist. I had mentioned that he sat out against the Steelers with that wrist injury, and his return is questionable. He has been replaced by Darren Anderson. A first down at the 31. Elway able to just stand in the pocket, completes to Davis. And he puts the speed on, although he says he does not have blazing speed. Pretty good acceleration there. Run out by Simeon and Collins. And that's good for 22 yards.
Sometimes speed is described as your 40-yard dash time when those pro scouts come out and measure you. But football speed is different than the 40-yard dash. You're carrying about 9 to 11 pounds of equipment, and you're running away from somebody. Sometimes that stimulates you a little bit.
First down at the 47-yard line. This first quarter coming to a close. 35 seconds remaining. And now Davis stopped in his tracks. Strong safety Brian Washington making the tackle.
You know, going back to that last pass play, when you see a quarterback, John Elway or anybody else just standing there, he's not moving his feet, he's not moving left to right to find a throw lane, just standing there as long as he did, the pass protection is really holding up. Either that or that pass rush is just getting nothing done.
That is the end of the first quarter here at Mile High in Denver. An impressive start for the Broncos. They lead the Chiefs 17-7. A capacity crowd, the usual capacity crowd, better than 76,000. The 209th consecutive sellout, regular or postseason here in Denver. And James Hasty is back The Chiefs saying that his return was questionable. He has answered the question. He's back on the field after hurting his wrist once again. Second quarter is underway. And here is Elway looking right then left. Couldn't find anyone and then decides to run and does the job, runs for the first down.
Do you see where age has kicked in his performance in any way? This is the guy searching. All the patterns were developing to his right. You see his head turn to the right as he looks for the open receiver. Nothing happening there. Pulls it down as he starts to run, nipping at his heels, but jerking his feet away. That's exactly what you have to do and hope that nobody gets around in front of it. Yeah. Yesterday, Mike Shanahan said, yeah, the arm's still there. Instead of throwing it 80 yards, we can still throw it 65. Big deal.
Picked up 13 on that run. Nice play action fake. And Elway's pass incomplete. The diving attempt made by Miller. So Anthony Miller getting a look here in the first half. Caught one earlier. And that pass was just off the mark. A 2nd and 10 at the 35.
Everything's cleared out to the right. Miller's coming all the way across the field. And the pass is just out, just in front of him there. That one's really not a drop pass. And you can see John knows that he had a chance for a big gain then.
2nd down and 10 at the 35 in Kansas City territory. The Broncos 17 and the Chiefs 7. Off the pitch, Davis. Kind of a jump start for Davis, moving forward, taking the pitch, picking up yardage. Brian Washington made the stop.
All day today, Denver has used Sharpe in motion. They have not really lined him up as a true tight end very much. That time he came in motion rather than becoming a receiver. He became a blocker. And when you block from the outside in, you can't block below the waist. That's a clip or a crackback. Not a clip, it's a crackback. Just stalk block the man in front, pitch the ball to your leading rusher. Pick up 5 yards.
Well, Davis going to the bench, getting a rest. Denver brings on the extra receiver. 3rd down and 5 at the 30-yard line. Elway from the shotgun. And fires for the end zone. Incomplete. And took the side judge with him. Pass intended for Mike Sherrard. And Darren Anderson is shaken up.
The crowd is reacting to the official getting in the way there. I don't think it had a thing to do with the completion of the pass or the incompletion of the pass. But you see Mike Sherrard, inside move just to freeze the defender. Try to get his hips turned in and then go back outside. The ball just overthrown.
And you saw the contact with the side judge, Ron Leapsack.
This is why the officials have to be in good condition, and they are. They're trained and they're measured, tested to make sure that they can move around out there on the field, but there's a lot going on. Sometimes you just can't get out of the way.
That's the nicest thing I've ever heard you say about NFL. If they're trained and they're tested.
Yeah, well, like wild dogs. They're trained, tested, and everything.
I see.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to say about an official.
It is a 4th down and 5 when we resume. 1.5 minutes gone.
Finishes the reach. They both go down. And you can see he's just landing. He's landing on the legs and the feet of the receiver and probably the wind. But I tell you, when you first get that wind knocked out of you, you are in a state of shock. You don't know how badly you're hurt. And, of course, the trainers want to make sure there's nothing serious before they move you. If you see a guy walk off like that by himself, hands on his hips, he's just trying to get his breath back.
Well, the field goal unit has come on. Jason Elam, who hit from 40 earlier, would have a 40-yard attempt. 48-yard attempt right here. He is 8 for 10 for the season. The guy has been deadly inside the 40, but this from 48 yards away.
Just 2 in their last meeting earlier in the year.
And this one is no good, off to the right. So the score remains the Broncos 17, the Chiefs 7. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Go. The 48-yard field goal attempt by Jason Elam, just wide right side.
And it gives field position. You see that Jason Elam reacted to that miss. Field position, though, for Kansas City. Their first 3 drives have ended in punts.
3 possessions, only 1 first down. Play fake, and Bono's pass in the middle of the field is completed to Camrick Vanover, met by the strong safety, Tyrone Braxton. It's a 24-yard advance, so Vanover has been the offense. The 97-yard kick return of the first quarter, and now the pickup right here.
Vanover's just going down and inside. The safety's giving him plenty of cushion, making sure he's not going to go deep to the post pattern. Good throw that time from Steve Bono.
It is a first down at the Denver 38-yard line. 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Again, the play action. And Bono, after stepping up, is able to complete at the marker to Chris Penn, who was met immediately by the left corner, Ray Crockett. Chris Penn with his 26th catch of the year. He had an outstanding game in that first meeting against Denver in Kansas City with 5 receptions, couple of clutch grabs in the fourth quarter down the stretch. It is a Kansas City first down. The major complaint of Marty Schottenheimer, despite that record of 5-2, Chiefs have not been able, for the most part this season, to put together sustained drives. That's certainly been the case thus far today. Marcus Allen spinning to the 25, and Mobley and Aldridge were right there to stop him.
You know, in their first 3 drives today, 6 plays is the most they've been able to run together. They started in good field position thanks to the missed field goal a moment ago, but there you see it. 6, 3, 3, and punting every time. Good drive going right now, and first down now. Watch a lot of play action pass. We saw 2 in this drive already. Steve Bono's a good ball handler. It's a good time to throw the ball on first down.
Now Todd McNair is split out to the right side, a 2nd and 8. Big rush, Bono got it away and completes to Hughes. And Hughes on the reception, and a penalty marker is down. Crockett made the stop.
Denver is
pass
applauding.
interference, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, that's the tight end, Derek Walker. Call for the interference.
Tight ends coming off the line are usually chucked, or they're going to be jammed by the linebacker. And sometimes they can just battle him so long that finally they just shove him away. The officials sometimes will call that offensive pass interference.
On that very subject, here are the Kansas City Chiefs. Have they replaced the LA Raiders in terms of intimidation? A lot of discussion the last couple of weeks, primarily because of what their receivers have been doing.
A lot of good blocking down the field, and I think it's good blocking. Marty Schottenheimer teaches it. Be tough, throw the touchdown block. Last week against Seattle, there were a lot of fights resulting in fines because of those blocks.
Marcus Allen, one of the players fined, involved in an incident. Again, play action, and Bono again to the middle of the field, nicely executed, and able to combine with Marcus Allen, met by Bill Romanowski. It's a 20-yard pickup. Right here, let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, in Baltimore, the Ravens and the Rams tied at 31. 10 seconds to play in the overtime. This is how it ended. Vinny Testaverde, 22 yards to Michael Jackson, and the Ravens are a winner. The final, 37-31 over St. Louis. Marv.
Greg, well, Vinny Testaverde and the Ravens effective last week against the Broncos. Broncos in a shootout winning 45-34. Baltimore went to the no-huddle with bothered Denver. Here's Allen. Not able to make the turn. Lionel Washington making the stop. Kansas City Chiefs have been so effective in the red zone, and as we in football say, Sam, that is inside the 20.
Inside the 20, but you know what people really inside football say? The red zone begins where you get to your field goal range. I think if you had to measure a spot on the field, it's the 20-yard line. But the field goal range usually starts somewhere when the line of scrimmage is around the 30-yard line to the 35-yard line, depending on the wind. But for the stat, it's the 20.
2nd and 9 at the 14. And Bono throwing for the end zone, and it is intercepted on a deflection. Braxton able to make the play on the deflection. It will be Denver ball at the 20 for this 4th interception of the season, so that's the first time this year that the Kansas City Chiefs have come up empty in the red zone as they are stopped. Braxton, who had an excellent game a week ago against the Ravens. Denver starting out at the 20-yard line, leading Kansas City by the score of 17-7. As Terrell Davis got the call, stopped by Tracy Simeon.
Back to the interception a moment ago that kept them out of the end zone for the first time this year. You'll see Crockett right here, and the inside safety, Braxton, right here. The ball is going to come in, and just as the ball arrives, Crockett knocks it loose. Tyrone Braxton's there. Sorry, that was hard for me to say.
I noticed that, Sam, but
take your hands off from around my neck, Marvin. I'm talking like this.
2nd and 7 at the 23-yard line. A completion to Craver. Aaron Craver has a first down. Thomas and Washington make the stop. It's good for 11 yards. Aaron Craver returned last week against Baltimore. He'd been bothered by a knee problem, wearing a brace. Mike Shanahan saying hopes it's the brace that slowed him down. It's not still the knee, but looks to be running well here in the first half.
They've adjusted the brace all week, and really he could probably play without it. It's a safety thing now more than anything else. On that last play, all John Elway turned around blind with somebody in his face and still got the ball.
And a first down at the 34-yard line. Elway improvising, brings McCaffrey in motion. And completes to the tight end, Sharpe. Washington and Simeon combined to make the stop. Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports will present more NFL action at the hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Others will see Bill Parcells' Patriots going up against Jimmy Johnson's Dolphins. Davis stopped by Simeon, and it is right at the marker and a first down. Also a schedule note to Kansas City Chiefs and change to the late time period. That'll be 4 Eastern, 3 Central, and you'll see it right here on NBC. First down at the 45-yard line. Elway broken up, intended for Sharpe. Good play by the free safety, Mark Collins, who got a piece of it.
The pressure coming from Anthony Davis, linebacker, blitzing on the play. There was no more time left. The play probably was designed to develop farther across the field. Shannon Sharpe doesn't miss many throws that are within his reach. This one is right there, but you see Anthony Davis right in John Elway's face. Should have been caught.
2nd and 10 at the 45. 7-12 remaining first half. Inside handoff to Davis. And he is stopped by Joe Phillips. To this point, Terrell Davis has not been able to break any runs. 9 carries, 36 yards. Last week, 194 yards, including a 71-yard touchdown run. And in that first meeting back in week 4 against the Chiefs, 14 rushes, 130 yards first half. Different situation in the second half. Also Denver looking for the passing game in that second half. And again, looks like James Hasty is shaken up. Hurt his wrist. Back to Denver. Marv Albert with Sam Weish. Here at Mile High, the Broncos have won 4 of 4 at home. They lead the Chiefs 17-7. James Hasty forced to the sideline once again and re-injured the right wrist. Darren Anderson has come on in right corner. Elway could not find anyone. Elway being chased by Smith and just throws it aside.
This has been their 3rd down formation for most of the day. It's really 5 wide receivers, counting Shannon Sharpe as a wide receiver, but nobody in the backfield. Kansas City, on every one of those attempts, has rushed only 4 defensive linemen. They haven't brought any extra people to try to get pressure on John Elway.
And the first punt of the day coming up now for Tom Ruin in his 3rd season out of Colorado, averaging 43 yards per punt. The ever-dangerous Tamarick Vanover is back. And Ruin sends a pop fly. Fair catch, handled by Vanover. Just inside the 15, a 37-yard punt, but he did prevent the return by Vanover. You're watching the NFL on
Most consecutive Super Bowls. Stay tuned. Appearances don't always get the play they deserve. Pity, because the Bills' unprecedented accomplishment is truly staggering. From the Super Bowl Silver Anniversary Edition to Super Bowl 28, Buffalo's consistent excellence was unsurpassed.
At their 15-yard line, Marcus Allen telling us last night of the many memories he's had playing here at Mile High, looking back to the days of the Orange Crust. Bono's pass incomplete. Chris Penn not able to hang on. He was covered by Steve Atwater. Marcus telling us that he thinks of people like Randy Grattershaw and Tom Jackson and Lewis Wright. And he said they played like they were legitimately crazy. And he meant that with admiration and affection.
The rules were different then, and they did play crazy. Played with reckless abandon was the term used. He also said it's funny, a lot of his younger teammates don't even know those names.
Second and 10 at the 15. Allen Ambers in the backfield, and Marcus Allen looking to cut and then brought down. Broncos have done a very good job against Allen. Tyrone Braxton, Alan Aldridge combined to make the stop. Marcus 6 carries, 21 yards. That's been it.
Broncos have really won the battles on all fronts. Kansas City started an average of their own 17-yard line. Denver, the 39-yard line. When you start giving up that many yards, it's like 2 first downs that you're handing Denver when you back people up. That's special teams and field position.
And there you see the Kansas City Chiefs average start at the 17-yard line. 3rd down and 9. A deep drop. Bono in trouble and just looked to get it away to avoid the sack. Alan Aldridge putting the pressure on.
The blitz of the linebackers coming after Steve Bono. They were going to add the extra rushers to get to him. Clean through the line of scrimmage. Really lucky to get rid of this ball. There was really no one in the area he was throwing in the general direction of in order to avoid the sack.
And Louis Aguiar is back at his 1, punting for the 4th time. Rod Smith has had an outstanding day and awaits the punt at the 37-yard line. 5:20 remaining in the first half. Fair catch handled by Smith. 41-yard punt. And Denver will return to the offense. Well, tonight on down at the 42-yard line, they lead the Chiefs 17-7. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in this second quarter. Elway's pass a floater handled by Miller. Anthony Miller with a big gain. Runs it out at the 31, but a penalty marker is down. They'll bring it back. It is against Denver.
Same play design as earlier in the game that was
holding number 69 offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's the left guard, Mark Schlereth, called for the hold.
John Elway just missed Miller earlier, but the left guard right here, watch him hold. Let's see if we can. It's a little touchy. You get your arms all tangled up in there, and if your arm is across the chest, as the referee, Jerry Markwright, threw that flag, it looks for all the world like a hold. And really, you're just engaged and your bodies are turning. But those are holding penalties that are going to be called, and each crew calls them a little bit differently. Some call them real close. Some let you get away with a little more.
Only the first penalty assessed on Denver. Kansas City hit with 2. It is a 1st and 20 back at the 32. And Elway right to the middle of the field where it's picked off by Mark Collins. There's a floater thrown up there, was deflected, and Collins with his 3rd interception of the season.
Neil Smith touches either Elway's arm or the ball just as it's released. And the result, of course, is that floater. There's no spiral on the ball. You see Neil Smith coming from this side, reaching out. He catches him, looks like around the elbow area there. Doesn't get the ball, but he gets his arm. Ball hangs forever. Pressure coming from Neil Smith right here. Good. Quarterback steps up in the pocket as he's supposed to, but the long arm, 7.5-foot wingspan on Neil Smith.
10th time this season, Elway has been intercepted. Kansas City, first down at the 36-yard line. Donnell Bennett That's his first carry. Stopped by Alfred Williams, but a flag is thrown. Marty Schottenheimer telling us that we'll see more of Bennett and McNair. In fact, Greg Hill inactive today.
Holding number 61, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the center, Tim Brunhart. 7-year man out of Notre Dame, the offensive co-captain along with Marcus Allen for the Kansas City Chiefs.
See if we can see it right in the middle, the center. Sliding down the line, sliding down the line. Very hard to call. That's in the framework of the body. Rarely is that called when your hands are in the framework. Those defensive linemen have that jersey pulled real tight. It's hard to grab that jersey in there.
It is sent back to a 1st and 20 at the 26-yard line. Play fake. Bono fired it. He had nowhere to go. He was being chased by Alfred Williams. Surprised to see Williams in his face, and then threw one a bit too strong for the tight end, Keith Cash.
Most of those plays are designed so that you block an Alfred Williams as he comes out. Let's see. Alfred will be coming from here. He's going to come quickly. The ball is fake one way, goes back to the right. Usually the quarterback goes to his right because he's a right-handed quarterback. It's easier to throw the ball. Alfred didn't have anybody to slow his rush. No time to throw the ball.
2nd and 20, back at the 26-yard line. Off the play fake. Bono short range for Bennett. And they have him under wraps. L. Bennett stopped by Aldridge and Hasselbeck.
Sean Les Chaparral is fighting down the field. You know, after the ball is caught, that's when receivers become blockers again, just as if it was a running play. And I think there was these defensive backs have watched the cut blocks by the wide receivers of Kansas City all week on film, and they don't like it and don't want it to happen to them.
3rd and 18. Now Chris Penn is flanked deep to the right side. Vanover to the left. Bono stepping up.
Whistles blew, stop the play.
Intended for Penn. And apparently a delay of game.
Prior to the snap, we have a delay of game. No play, 5-yard penalty, third down.
You know what causes that? Remember on the previous play, there was a little scuffle by a wide receiver and the defensive back. The quarterback lost the rhythm of the 40-second clock. Took a little longer for them to huddle up. Didn't check the 40-second clock and ran out of time. Cost him 5 yards.
Well, Denver players urging the crowd on to see Ray Crockett. Oh, they love to hear the noise here. 76,000 strong. Kansas City with their 4th penalty. Broncos 17-7 over the Chiefs. 3:20 to go, first half. Bono, short range for Allen. Cuts the other way. And taken down at the 29. Alan Aldridge makes the tackle. Alan Aldridge in his 3rd season out of Houston. Marcus Allen is upset. Nothing working offensively for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Denver seems to have all the answers today, not only on the offensive or defensive side of the ball, but in the special teams as well. Other than the long run back by Tamarick Vanover, I think I've been saying that wrong today. Other than that long run back, Kansas City really hasn't got anything back.
Aguiar's punt, handled by Smith. And Smith dancing his way up across the 40-yard line. A 45-yard punt and a 13-yard return.
Field position again, Marv. Denver has had it all day. Kansas City has been without it all day.
John Elway has been on a roll. He's thrown for 300 yards for 3 straight games. First time in his career he has done that. You know, earlier this season there were some questions. People say, is he too old? As you mentioned earlier about the arm strength. Well, he has come on in grand fashion. Terrell Davis, one of the reasons that Elway has been so effective, is stopped by Tracy Simeon, but Davis to this point has not been able to get going in the first half. Elway 9 of 17, 157 yards. John Elway, who at one point was signed by the New York Yankees and at John Elway's wedding, has actually earned a world championship ring before John. That is the Yankees' Mike Aldrete, who attended Stanford with John Elway. Caught up in all the action from this 9th week of the NFL season. Coming up at halftime. Second down and 10 at the 40 for Elway and the Broncos. Saw the opening and may have been tripped by his own man. Looked like he fell over the leg of the left guard, Mark Schlereth, and then was covered up by Derek Thomas.
Quarterback draw. They've got everybody out of the backfield, which they've been doing in third down situations. Now they're in the 2-minute drill. But Derek Thomas really had a stunt, a game coming. He came back inside. There was no rub-off with the offensive lineman. Not a very good time to have a quarterback draw.
Third and 12. Chiefs going with 7 defensive backs. Minute and a half remaining in the first half. And Elway able to find the opening, completing with Anthony Miller. That's good for 15. That's the second catch for Miller. Timeout is called. We'll be right back. Minute 26 to go in the half. Denver with 2 timeouts remaining. Kansas City has all 3. And Elway finds a wide open Ed McCaffrey. And he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Picked up the first down. That's good for 11. And that's the first catch of the day by the 6'5" McCaffrey, who had 3 touchdown receptions against Baltimore last week. Overall, he caught 7 passes for 76 yards. Also, a very tough guy and considered to be an excellent blocker.
He's big enough at 6'3" and 215, but he did a smart thing there. He ran out of bounds to save a timeout.
Elway on a quick pitch for McCaffrey. Broke a tackle. And a penalty marker's down. Beautiful move, though, by McCaffrey. Taken down by Collins. He was able to break a tackle, but there is a flag.
It's going to be holding against Denver.
Holding number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is the right guard, Brian Habib. It's called for the hold.
Right here, the right guard is going to be called for holding. These officials are calling it very closely. See, he reaches out. He's actually got what is called double duty. He's blocking. One man is a primary block, and if anybody comes inside, he's supposed to just jam him a little bit in order to slow the rush. Held him a little too long.
And as you saw, John Elway did not agree with that call. 1:12 remaining in the half, and now Elway to the side.
Any techniques or what particular play they're talking about? This play plus the next play, when to call timeout. First down markers all the way down to about the 25-yard line. They may be looking first for the 3 points. Don't give that up before they go for 7.
First and 20 at the 46-yard line. Rod Smith, the man in motion, to give to Davis. And that actually a loss on the play. Brian Washington, Martin Bayless right there, lost about a yard. Well, apparently that last timeout was charged to the Kansas City Chiefs, so both clubs with 2 timeouts remaining. It was not taken by Denver. Marty Schottenheimer, head coach of the Chiefs, been in the playoffs 10 of his 11 seasons as head man at Kansas City and Cleveland. Second down and 21. And Elway seeing the opening. Elway diving for the first down, and the crowd loves it. Timeout is taken. So now Denver has 1 remaining. A 22-yard run by Elway. Moments ago, he ran for 13.
Smart 2-minute drive. Every player has had a piece of the action here. That time, John Elway didn't concede the tackle by going feet first or knees first. He dove for the first down, so the slide counts. He gets every bit of the yardage. Still got enough quarterback scrambling speed to be called dangerous as a quarterback scrambler.
Oh, not bad on a 2nd and 21. He runs for 22 yards.
Still only rushing 4 people are the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody else is in pass coverage, and they're keeping 2 safeties deep. So when you've got 5 receivers coming out quick like that, their strategy is always have a safety to each side covering half of the field. The 4-man rush, however, has not gotten to John Elway, and when it does give him a little pressure, he's made runs like that just as good as completing a long pass.
So the timeout rundown, Denver 1 left, Kansas City has 2. A 1st and 10 at the 25 for the Broncos. 56 seconds to go in the first half, and the Broncos lead the Chiefs 17-7. Now Sharpe is split wide to the left side.
Got their first down distance. Now they go for the touchdown.
And Elway gunning for Sharpe, who had a turn twice on that play in the race with the free safety, Mark Collins.
For the first time, they brought 5 rushers. Ball was still going to be thrown quickly. Right here, Shannon Sharpe. This is a tight end, lined up like a wide receiver going against Mark Collins. He's by him. The ball is just thrown to his outside. Tries to make the adjustment. I tell you, that is very tough. Running full speed, looking over your right shoulder, and then turn all the way back over your left shoulder. Ball was just out of reach.
And the sun also may have been a factor. 2nd and 10 at the 25. Elway with the long look and throws. End zone. What a catch! Touchdown! Mike Sharpe with a magnificent touchdown reception.
That makes the highlight film in the offseason.
Sharpe beating Darren Anderson for his first touchdown of the year. It's a 25-yard pass play. Mike Sharpe, one-time Cowboy, one-time 49er and Giant. He's gone through a difficult injury-hit career. He's come back from a broken leg, a dislocated hip. And the point after by Elam is good. So the Broncos extend the lead.
Darren Anderson is the defender now, replacing James Hasty. But they got into field goal range and then decided to take a couple of shots at the goal line. Once with Shannon Sharpe against Mark Collins, and this time, here's the receiver just taking that first step inside to freeze the defender, just long enough to see if he can get an angle to get outside. He really stops the ball with his left hand, reaches up with his right hand to close on it. One more look at it. John Elway, this is what he's looking through. Plenty of vision down the field. Tight spiral. Ball had to be put right there. Really not bad coverage by Darren Anderson. John Elway's just as happy as the receivers when they make a catch like that. That goes on the passing yardage statistic. John Elway's a team player, though. He's concerned about scoring touchdowns, and they're doing it today.
And for Elway, 3rd touchdown throw of the afternoon. He's 12 of 21 overall, 208 yards. So the Broncos with a 24-7 lead on the Chiefs with 46 seconds remaining in the first half.
Final look at it. Full extension. You're catching that one not with your hands, but with your fingertips and pulling that one in. Big play right before the half.
By Vanover is the deep man. The kick by Elam. And here comes Vanover. Cross the 15. And again, the good coverage by the Broncos, and they are enjoying the moments. 18-yard return. Darius Johnson, one of several to celebrate. He is a special teams standout. Rookie from Oklahoma, 4th-round draft pick. There he is, number 25.
Every team has 4 or 5 players that are special teams players. They're involved in all the cover teams, and when they make a play, they get excited because they don't have as many opportunities as an offensive or defensive regular.
Well, Kansas City, with 6 possessions, they've picked up just 4 first downs. And they start out with only 41 seconds remaining in the half. Bono to the sideline and is able to complete to Vanover. Covered by Crockett. Second catch by Tamarick Vanover. And the clock is stopped with 37 seconds remaining, just short of a first down. It's a second and about a half yard at the 29.
Chiefs have had such poor field position all day long, and even in this 2-minute drill, they start out on the 20-yard line. They've got 2 timeouts so they can get the ball down the middle of the field. They don't have to go to the sideline on this throw or the next one either.
And you certainly have to wonder about Kansas City as a come-from-behind team. Here's the play action, and it's completed to Chris Penn out at midfield, met by the free safety Steve Atwater. It's good for 21 yards. The offense so conservative. Of course, they have heard their share of criticism back home in Kansas City, but the way they play, are they capable of coming from behind?
Well, they're capable of it, but that's not their strong suit. Even on that last play, there was a token fake as he dropped back to throw the ball. They're in a 2-minute drill, but that's one of their base plays. They threw the ball down the middle, having the extra timeout, 2 of them, to complete the ball and get out to midfield where they can work both sides of the field. But when you've got a team that is a run-oriented, high possession, you're not a come-from-behind team. And Kansas City's just not that.
Chiefs taking a timeout, so they each have 1 timeout remaining with 29 seconds to go in this first half. Well, apparently all the other assistants have departed. Only offensive coordinator Paul Hackett remains. I don't think that's a political stand on the part of the other fellows. I think
we want to know who this guy is, right? Yeah. Does he belong up there or not?
They're not trying to make a statement. They're hustling to get down to the locker room, and there'll certainly be plenty to discuss at halftime with Denver up 24-7. Bono looked deep, did not have anyone, and goes shorter range to the tight end. Keith Cash met by Alan Aldridge. Cash able to step out of bounds. 23 seconds remaining in the half.
Still plenty of time to get down and get a score. Maybe not a touchdown, but get something on the scoreboard before the half and at least nullify some of the momentum that Denver takes in at halftime.
Second down and 2. Kansas City at the Denver 42-yard line. Now Penn goes to the right. LaChapelle to the left. Vanover in the slot, now in motion. And it is dropped. Should have been caught by Cash.
Denver is not playing a traditional 2-minute defense. Soft, give, bend but don't break kind of a defense. They played a straight up 1st and 10 kind of a defense, blitzing their linebackers, forcing the quick throw. Ball should have been caught, but you'll see the linebackers coming, and defensive backs are in a nickel situation where they've got defensive backs playing in the linebacker position. Bono reads it. Still, throwing the ball quick like that keeps you from getting it down into field goal range in a hurry.
3rd and 2 at the Denver 42. 20 seconds to go in the half. And that is not what Steve Bono had in mind. He tripped, lost his balance.
No, and he's still making that token fake. That's not going to fool anybody in this situation. Now the question is, on 4th down, do you try a 60-yard field goal? You're not really giving up that much field position if you don't make it. Ball would be spotted at around the 50-yard line. Wouldn't be enough time to sustain it, to get much of a drive, but they're going to go for it on 4th and 1 from scrimmage, not a field goal. 4th and 2.
Down to 15 seconds left in the half. Anders in motion. And it is incomplete. Intended for Joe Horn, coming over the middle and covered by Ray Crockett.
Now let's see what Denver does. They've got good field position, a chance to take a shot down the field with 12 seconds to go, and they still have a timeout left, so they can really throw the ball anywhere on the field. And we saw Anthony Miller earlier catch one down the middle in the immediate timeout. That's about an 8 to a 10-second play. There are 12 seconds left on the clock.
Elway out of the shotgun. Getting the protection, but it is batted down. Keith Traylor got a piece of it, and it sets up a second opportunity, a 2nd and 10 with 8 seconds remaining.
Now, They have a strong-legged kicker in Jason Elam who could kick a 60-yard field goal. Mike Shanahan said he wouldn't bother him a bit to line him up and do it. So if they can pick up about 18 yards down to around the 40-yard line, out of bounds quick, could see a late field goal.
However, apparently a different thought from Mike Shanahan going the safe way. So the Denver Broncos with a very impressive first half. Chiefs not able to get anything going. Broncos 24, the Chiefs 7. Now to New York and the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report with Greg Gumbel.
Here is the play of the Denver defense. They were embarrassed last week against the Ravens. Michael Dean Perry after that game said, listen, guys, we will never have another football game like that. We'll come back, play much better, and they have certainly done that with the running game they have, with John Elway, and now the defense. This is a team like the Washington Redskins. We have to take these guys seriously.
How about the continuing outstanding play of John Elway? He has thrown 3 touchdown passes today. He threw 3 against Baltimore his last time out, 4 against San Diego before that, and add in 2 against Cincinnati the game before that. He is not having a bad run. John Elway, in his last 3 games prior to today, more than 300 yards a game and better than 60% completion rate. The Broncos leading 24-7 at halftime. Former mates, 13-6 Seattle in the second. Sean Salisbury over the middle, picked off by Darrell Williams, takes it 79 yards for a Seahawks touchdown. Chargers playing without Stan Humphries, without Junior Seau, and they're paying the price, 20-6. Jets come in 0-8. First play of the second quarter, Adrian Morrell back to Frank Reich. Reich to Keyshawn Johnson on the flea flicker. Young suffered a concussion, helped into an ambulance later. He never returned. 9-3 Houston in the fourth. Niners driving. Young's replacement, Jeff Brom, to Terrell Owens, who spins away from Darrell Lewis. 20-yard touchdown. That's Brom's first touchdown pass ever in the NFL, and it was good enough to give the 49ers the win, 10-9. The Oilers are one of those disguises a little longer. 10-10 in the third. Jerome Bettis, a 1-yard touchdown plunge, puts the Steelers up 17-10. His family is thrilled to death. 26 carries, 128 yards. That's the 6th time he's gone over 100 yards this season. 17-10 Steelers in the fourth. Bobby Hebert to Burt Emmanuel for a 4-yard touchdown to tie the game at 17. But with time running out, Norm Johnson from 20 yards out to beat his former mates. The Steelers win it 20-17. The Steelers are now back in uniform for Tampa Bay after ending his contract holdout this week. Packers driving. Brett Favre to Antonio Freeman, sandwiched between 2 defenders. Packers settled for 3. Freeman left the game with a broken left arm. That's costly. They're already without Robert Brooks. The only touchdown of the day for Green Bay, Dorsey Levens, a 1-yarder to give the Packers a 10-0 lead. That was about what they could sell. Sanders goes without 100 yards rushing for the 6th straight game. That's the longest stretch of his career. 11-7 New York in the second. Terrible first half for Scott Mitchell. Intercepted 3 times. This is number 2, Maurice Douglas. 32 yards and a touchdown, 18-7. Then Dave Brown takes advantage of Mitchell's 3rd interception. 23 yards to Thomas Lewis. 25-7. Mitchell yanked in favor of Don Majkowski, visibly upset with that decision and his performance. But the Giants improved to 3-5 as the Bengals head coach again. 14-7 Jacksonville in the fourth. Jeff Blake to Carl Pickens in the end zone, 10 yards. Second time those two hooked up on the day. Game tied at 14. The Bengals outscored Jacksonville 21-7 in the fourth. He hands to Kajana Carter for the 1-yard score here. Carter added another. The Bengals go on to win it 28-21. The Bengals now 2-6 on the year, and the traditional bath that always feels. This is how it ended. Vinny Testaverde, 22 yards to Michael Jackson for the touchdown.
Ooh. And 10. 60, 70,000 people are just screaming. Things just don't happen the way you expect. Do you ever get used to it? No.
We head to the second half. Marv Albert with Sam Weish. Brilliant first half for John Elway and the Broncos. For Kansas City, same problem. They continue to give up the big play.
They're going to have to do something special. They really haven't done anything to shake it up. Denver is winning on all fronts. Not an extra blitzer coming from Kansas City. Offensively, the same offense.
All right, a look at the Coors Light halftime statistics, and the stats in this case tell the story.
Doesn't take much of a long look to see who's winning and dominating here in almost every category except time of possession. Pete Stoyanovich will
kick it off. On Hebron on the return. And reaches out across the 25-yard line. 22-yard return by Hebron. Well, Steve Bono, 11 of 21, 120 yards. And that actually looks better than what took place because he got nothing accomplished in the first half. Elway, 12 for 22, 208 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
The numbers by Steve Bono are really not good because they only had a 6-play drive. That was their longest drive the whole first half, 6 plays.
First and 10 from the 28-yard line. Off the roll. Elway's pass off the mark, intended for the fullback, Aaron Craver. Pressure from Neil Smith. Well, Kansas City, in terms of their average drive start, starting out of the 23-yard line, which is not good. Denver with terrific field position right throughout that first half.
Those are hidden numbers right there. That's 17-yard difference. That's almost 2 first downs of work between them.
Second down and 10. And Davis, in taking the handoff, lost his balance and was met by Phillips and Soliamua. So Terrell Davis has not been able to get going. 12 carries, 35 yards. That's the one positive for the Kansas City defense. They have held him in check.
They have a lot of admiration for him, and you know that was the guy they thought coming in that they had to stop. This is the down, though, that Kansas City needs to do something different. All the receivers are out of the backfield. John Elway's the only one back there. It looks though they're as if Kansas City's only going to bring 4 again.
3rd and 13. Again, Elway spotting the opening, and once again he has a first down.
Mar, the problem with that is if those 4 guys are getting there and containing John Elway, good, because you've got plenty of defenders down the field. But they're not getting there, and when they do give him a little pressure, they're not containing him. He's able to make the run. That was man-to-man coverage down the field. So you, as a quarterback scrambling, nobody is reacting back to your run because they're chasing their man-to-man. They're looking at the receiver.
Elway looking very spry. Picked up another 15. 5 rushes, 48 yards. First down at the Denver 42. We're just underway in the 3rd quarter. Off the roll, and again sees the room, and this time is tackled, hit from behind by John Browning, and the crowd does not like to see the starting quarterback take a hit.
He didn't go out of bounds deliberately. He didn't step out to let everybody know he was going. He was trying to get that extra yard. You can't blame Browning for making the tackle right there. I was glad to see everybody keep their calm on the sideline. As he is running down the sideline, Browning can't just let him run. He's got to go out. Initial contact well in bounds. But after that play, of course, they finished well out of bounds. There was a little bit of a rush to the spot. You could see the sideline moving towards the tackle. And everybody calmed down a little bit and realized that was part of the football game.
And a Kansas City player shaken up, Keith Traylor. There he is, number 94. One-time Denver Bronco, spent 2 years with the Broncos, a year with Green Bay. This is 2nd season with Kansas City, a 3rd-round draft pick of the Broncos back in 1991.
Defenders, as they cover their receiver, and right here the same thing. Everybody is man-to-man as they go up the field. See him turn right there. There's nothing out here but green grass, and John Elway, as he runs down the sideline, being tackled inbounds, perfectly legal, clean shot.
He's the leading rusher for the Denver Broncos. 6 carries, 62 yards. Might hit the century mark.
Kansas City's giving him the run. He's made most of those runs on the scramble on 3rd down with 4 wide receivers, 5 wide receivers really out.
And Denver first down at the Kansas City 43-yard line. They'd love to get Davis going, but once again, he is stopped right at the line. Joe Phillips making the tackle. Well, coming into today, Denver averaging 166 yards on the ground. But even though they're well below that pace today, that really doesn't mean anything because John Elway's been throwing the ball so well. He is connected for 3 touchdown passes, including a 46-yarder. to Shannon Sharpe. 2 to Sharpe, 1 to Mike Sherrard, catching his first TD as a Bronco. And that not handled by Miller. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver, covered by James Hasty. Well, Dallas now leads Miami in the third quarter, 16 to 10. Seattle maintaining its lead on San Diego. San Diego comes in at 4-2, and the Jets looking for their first win of the season. Again, 7 defensive backs being utilized by the Chiefs. 3rd down and 9 at the 42-yard line. 3 minutes gone by in the third. Elway able to stand in and then fires, but throws over the head of Miller, who was well covered by Carter.
The ball was really uncatchable. There was some contact down the field, but the ball being uncatchable, no flags were thrown. Martin Bayless is really the 7th defensive back, but he's part linebacker and part defensive back. Really nobody there unless he were to throw it out into the flat short. But he went down the field, uncatchable. Kansas City finally stops this Denver offense.
And Tamarick Vanover is back, awaiting the punt from Tom Ruin. Ruin back at his 43-yard line. And a delay of game against the Broncos.
Really means nothing because they're so...
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
The punter really likes a little more room like this. He can carry through. It's like a golfer that doesn't want to have to take a little something off his shot. He'd rather have a full swing at it. The punters are the same way. He's going to lift this thing either very, very high or try to pooch it out of bounds left or right. They practice all those shots as punters.
And this one is lifted high. Vanover lets it go, and it carries to the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, 47-yard punt. So Kansas City gets it back, 12:02 left, third quarter. Welcome back to Mile High in Denver. Broncos 24, Chiefs 7, 3 minutes in. Third quarter, you see the movement. Bono firing one intended for Penn. Alfred Williams with putting the pressure on Steve Bono.
Offside.
Bono knew he had a free throw on that one. He could take a shot down the field.
5-yard penalty, 1st down.
And the penalty is called on Williams. Not a pretty picture for the Kansas City Chiefs in the first half. Not able to get anything going. Certainly a busy first half for the punter, Louis Aguiar.
Only scoring came on a kickoff return. Everything else is ended in punts, interceptions, or the half.
It is a 1st and 5 at the 25. Play action, and Bono is taken down. First sack of the game for either team. Alfred Williams. 8.5 for the season. And number 27 for the Denver Broncos.
Long and rangy, comes up the field. Once you get around the corner as a pass rusher, this time he dips back inside to get to the quarterback. But once you come up that field and you get those big tackles moving fast, they're too big to change direction with a quicker defensive lineman.
Coming into today, Denver on top of the NFL with most sacks tied with Carolina. Penalty marker down again. Jerry Markwright was examining the flag. This is very sad, Seth.
I have no comment. No comment.
Seemed to be unhappy with the way it kind of draped on the grass.
Yes. Well, I've been there. I've been unhappy with some of those flags, too.
False start. Number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the left guard, Dave Zott, called for the offside. It'll be a 2nd down and 15 back at the 15-yard line.
His officials wanted to meet like that. All of them probably saw movement, and then you had to decide who moved first. Offense did it.
Well, this is what Mike Shanahan was calling for right throughout the week. Wanted even more support from this usual very lively crowd in Denver. It is completed to Vanover, and he's tackled across the 20 by Crockett. Crockett able to follow him across the field. It is a 7-yard advance, third catch of the game for Vanover.
Alan Aldridge rushing right straight up the middle. Denver is doing a lot of different things defensively, trying to give them problems. Just a scrape off. The inside receiver goes up the field. Vanover comes back underneath him on a short called a shallow cross. Still third down and long.
Bono on a short set. It is incomplete. Vanover looking for pass interference. He felt that his arms were being held by Romanowski, but no flag.
His arms were being held after the ball got there. Perfectly legal coverage. Denver showing blitz, trying to get the Kansas City offensive line as well as backs to stay in there and not release too quickly. Romanowski has been a big shot in the arm for this Denver ball club.
That was if it could be categorized as a clean drop, no question. And Aguiar with the punt to Smith, who has had a superb day. And Smith is taken down at the 34 and a flag tossed. 55-yarder from Aguiar, and Smith comes back to return it for 8.
Illegal blocked in the back. Number 31 on the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, the call against Rondell Jones, special teams man, backup strong safety. You are watching the NFL on NBC. During the timeout, defensive coordinator Greg Robinson of the Broncos in a sideline chat,
making sure everybody is understanding the calls. Apparently there was something that didn't go right the last time.
Wide open, Shannon Sharpe able to ride off that tackle, pick up a couple of more. Tracy Simeon on the stop, 5 catches for Sharpe. This one for 20, so 5 catches, 91 yards for the day.
Shannon Sharpe has normally been lined up as a wide receiver. This time as a true tight end, lined up next to that tackle, running the shallow cross, not going down on that first hit. About 6 or 7 extra yards on the run.
Broncos first down at their 43-yard line. 9.5 left in the third. Davis again trying to pick his way, but could not. The leading rusher for the Broncos is John Elway. 7 carries, 63 yards. That is a new single-game career high for Elway. Not bad for a guy who's 35 years old. His previous career high rushing yards in a single game, 52. So John Elway has done it in several categories, throwing for 3 touchdowns. He has run for a career high 63 yards. Second down and 9 at the 44. 84 Sharpe in motion. Again, Elway got the time, and that looked to be a miscommunication. Or did he throw it away?
I think he wanted Sharpe to go out and then up, and he got held up as he started his out move towards the sideline. Sharpe in motion. Goes back to the outside. Then as he turns up the field, he collides with the defensive back. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Collins was there first. He has a right to stand there. If he had approached him and tried to go out of his way to cut him off, that would have been a penalty.
Third and 9. The Chiefs continue to go with the 7 defensive backs. Minimal rush as a result. Elway, the only man in the backfield, working out of the shotgun, and has been able to stand back and pick out receivers. Can't find anyone, and now does. The sideline pass is ruled incomplete. It was caught out of bounds by Sharpe.
One of those instances where there were 2 or 3 open receivers. There were maybe too many of them, and he just couldn't find him because he was avoiding the rush that time. Still a 4-man rush, but we do have a flag on the field. You know, Kansas City throughout the second half. Hasn't changed anything they did in the first half. Still the straight rush with the 2 safeties.
There was no ineligible man downfield on the pass. There's no foul. It's 4th down.
Ineligible receiver downfield would mean that a lineman maybe had started downfield thinking John Elway would run the ball, and then when he threw it, it would be an ineligible receiver downfield. But apparently it was one of the legal wide receivers that the official saw, and they picked the flag up the way. That's good officiating. Double check. Make sure you get it right.
All right, here's Tom Ruin at his 29. Mark Vanover is back.
Come on, Justin.
And a short punt.
Get away, David.
So it takes a Kansas City bounce, a 34-yard punt. 8 minutes, 31 seconds left, third. Kansas City Chiefs, 1st and 10 from their 22-yard line, 8.5 remaining in the third quarter. And the Denver Broncos with a 24-7 lead. Now the Chiefs won the earlier meeting at Arrowhead back on the 22nd of September. They won the last 3 against Denver. As you take a look at what has taken place, and the statistics make it very clear-cut. It's been all Denver here today. Kansas City has also won 6 of the last 8 games against the Broncos. And they won the last 2 here at Mile High, but certainly a different story right throughout the afternoon. Marcus Allen comes up on the wing, and Bono after the pump, and again just couldn't find anyone. Terrific coverage, and then a big hit made. Braxton and Mobley making the contact with Cash, and a flag is thrown.
Coverage sack to be, but Steve Bono bought the time to avoid that part of it. Nobody could get open. He pumped the ball 3 or 4 times down the field and decided to pull it back because it wouldn't have been a good throw. Crackback block by Kansas City.
Personal foul. Illegal chop block on number 61 offense. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
And that's the center, Tim Grunhard. And those who have complained about the Kansas City Chiefs have brought up this type of play, although the Chiefs say no, it's not true. In fact, Marty Schottenheimer telling us last night there's no intimidation. He feels no one in the NFL can be intimidated. Do you buy that?
I don't think anybody can be intimidated. Sometimes you can cause them to get out of their game plan, though. You can cause them to lose their attention on the game by getting angry at something you're doing. That's not true intimidation. If that was the block that they call right there, that was a high-low block that they're trying to cut out. I thought probably in the scramble he reached out and came back and cut somebody low, but that block was the old chop block inside.
Dale Carter on the offensive end for the first time, and Bono's pass incomplete, intended for the tight end Reggie Johnson, covered by the outside linebacker Bill Romanowski. But Dale Carter flanked out to the right side, so being used offensively for the first time. Marty Schottenheimer telling us Dale might get 5 or 6 plays.
During the practice week, he just practices his defense and goes over on a few snaps with the offensive side. He says they just call it Dale right, Dale left. Call his name out, tell him what to do, and he moves on the ball.
He says these days, though, they've been calling him a decoy. 2nd and 22. Bennett stopped by Romanowski. And a Denver Bronco is down. Lionel Washington shaken up, slow to get up.
This is how that injury happened. Dale Carter is a wide receiver coming down the field. Now, this is a running play. It's a draw. It looks like a pass, and then it's a run. There's the chop block right at the knee, and that's what all the controversy is about right now. This is not an illegal block. The only time that is considered an illegal block if the person being blocked is obviously, quote, obviously out of the play. Well, how can you tell when a player is obviously out of the play?
The Broncos are very upset. Several Bronco players over to the Kansas City sideline screaming at Kansas City Chiefs.
Watch Carter's reaction on the sideline. Now, he's just made a block. He's back to his sideline, and here come the Denver Broncos to come over to express themselves. And he's not backing down. Not good for the game, that part of it. Tough football is good, and that was legal. That's the kind of thing, though, that may be discussed at competition committee meetings this offseason. These kind of trends stimulate that conversation.
3rd and 18 from the 14. And Bono completes to Penn, spinning his way, has the first down. And now gang tackled, and things may be getting out of hand now.
It's getting physical now beyond the normal toughness of the game. Anytime a receiver catches a ball, you try to stand him up so the next tackler can come in and take the ball away. And we're seeing blockers all the way down the field. That time, Tim Gunhard was all the way down the field to center. Back to the inside, just turns in. Zone defense. Now watch, they stand him up. They're holding him up. Here come their tacklers trying to get to the ball. Now right there, that's the offensive center right here, all the way down the field.
19-yard advance, 3rd catch for Penn, first down at the 34-yard line. 7 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. And Cash making the catch short of the first down, met by the strong safety, Tyrone Braxton, for Keith Cash, his 3rd reception of the day.
Steve Bono's done a good job of reading what's happening to him on defense. That time they just vacated the middle of the field, and Keith Cash looked in on what's called a looky pass. As he releases, if nobody's in his way, turn back and look for the ball.
I know Washington, who was hurt a moment ago, is back down the field. 36-year-old, 14-year veteran, Lionel Washington. Oh, here is a flea flicker. And Bono throwing deep downfield. It is broken up. Vanover not able to hold on. Covered by Crockett.
Ray Crockett makes the classic defensive play. He's Vanover is way behind Crockett initially as the flea flicker starts. Ray Crockett makes up the time, not able to catch Vanover. Look how far he's beaten. He's going to reach right up. When Vanover reaches, Crockett reaches. There's the handoff. His head never turned back, but he never interfered with Vanover's effort to make the catch. Good defense.
Nice recovery by Ray Crockett. Marcus Allen. And he's driven back. Stopped at the line. And a flag is thrown. And this has become heated in the 3rd quarter.
It's ugly right there. Reggie Johnson, the tight end, the second tight end, was down the field.
Unnecessary roughness on number 91. Defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
It's Alfred Williams. They started to say that Ray Crockett was being blocked down the field by Reggie Johnson with another cut block way down the field. The penalty happened, though, up around the ball. Alfred Williams, number 91. They did not make the first down. Now the penalty happens just after this action right here. Right here. Too much going on after that whistle.
It is a 1st and 10 off the penalty at the Denver 42-yard line. Just under 6 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Bono completing. The tight end, Reggie Johnson, with another Kansas City first down. Alan Aldrich, Tyrone Braxton combined to make the tackle. Pickup of 19 on that play.
Zone defense. Protection holds up. Steps up into the pocket. Reggie Johnson, who was on the last play a cut blocker deep down the field, this time runs across the field for the big game.
This the best sustained drive by the Chiefs, who have been silent. Their only score on a 97-yard kick return by Vanover. Bono with the long look and has to go short range. Flag is thrown as Kimball Anders works his way to the 15, met by Michael Dean Perry. And a penalty marker is down.
Holding against Kansas City.
Holding, number 68, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the right guard, Will Shields, one of the NFL's best at his position, called for the hold.
Will Shields sets up, token fake, pocket protection. Boy, I'll tell you what, that is, I don't see the holding on that one at all.
Well, the Chiefs are set back to a 1st and 20 at the 31. Bono off the roll. It is dropped by Vanover. He has been the #1 target this afternoon.
And that was Alfred Williams that hit him, and he's down. He had injured ribs earlier in the season.
Yes, he missed a couple of games with cracked ribs. He's had other injuries in recent weeks.
We stand over right there on a crossing pattern. Bono's out of the pocket. Alfred Williams.
Well, the initial hit by Mobley, then Williams came on. And we'll take a break with just under 5 remaining in the 3rd.
See the greatest.
265 pounds, a down lineman, looks like a linebacker in his drop. They pull him off the line, coming back inside. Vanover's coming right at him, never sees Alfred Williams though. Alfred coming back home, played here at Colorado.
And Tamarick Vanover trying to work it off. It is a 2nd and 20 at the 31. 9th play of this drive coming up. A drive that was kept alive by a 15-yard Denver penalty for unnecessary roughness. 4:59 to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Broncos lead the Chiefs 24-7. Bono looked like it was deflected. It was, and picked off. Ray Crockett with the interception, but a penalty flag is down.
Play, no play. Prior to the snap, we had a false start. Number 66 offense, no play. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Ray Sigler, the right tackle, moved prior to the snap. As soon as he moves, as soon as he picks up his hand out of that 3-point stance, the play is dead. Even though the whistle can't be heard, Ricky Sigler is at right tackle right here. He moved early on the snap. They had the wave going, Dan Marv, and the noise was very, very loud. The offensive tackles, of course, are the farthest from the snap count, from the quarterback yelling the snap count. And we have an official down on the field.
Yeah, it's been a tough day. That's Don Hakes, the field judge.
And he is not happy about something.
Looked like he didn't want any of his
no. He really was
friends
just
to help up.
He just fell. He was in the open field, and they came over to help him, and he was very upset about that.
It is a 2nd and 25 at the Denver 36-yard line. Bono, I don't know if he flipped it or lost control.
It was an underhand forward pass. You could throw the ball overhand or underhand as long as it's going forward. It's not a fumble.
Apparently trying to flip it to Donnell Bennett. Not a pretty looking sequence. Here is another look at it.
As he drives straight back, now he's going to move up into the pocket, finding nobody open. He just tries to get rid of the ball, just shovels it out. One more look at it, coming straight at you. That's a legal forward pass, incomplete.
And now Dale Carter back on the field. He's flanked top of your screen to the right side for this 3rd down and 25. Bono goes the other way and completes, but well short of a 1st down. Reggie Johnson making the catch. Steve Atwater with the tackle.
Down 24-7, you go for it. You go for some points here. Now, they may decide to go for the field goal, but you go for some points. Field goal team coming on.
Well, it's a 4th and 20 at the 31-yard line, and this will be a 48-yard attempt. for Pete Stoyanovich.
Guarantee you Denver is looking for the fake as well.
Stoyanovich 10 of 13 for the season. Aguiar will hold and make it a 49-yard attempt. And apparently trying to draw Denver offside.
Wow.
They take a delay of game.
I don't understand that one. As much as I respect Marty Schottenheimer, he's been around a long time and won a lot of football games. But that 5-yard penalty now is going to make, if they try the field goal, a very long field goal. 5 yards longer. How about that for adding it all up?
Very swift.
Thank you. Like a steel trap here. The other way to go, of course, would be to get up, try to draw them offsides, and use one of your timeouts. But down 24-7, you've got to go for some legitimate points right here. Either go for the 7-pointer or the field goal.
And this now a 54-yard attempt. The angle to the right.
He misses. Great field position for Denver as a result.
From 54 yards out, no good.
And Denver's going to get the ball in very good shape.
3:47 left, third quarter.
It's also time to hit the tub.
Go, Pete Stoyanovich, missing from 54 yards out. This following the delay of game penalty would have been a 49-yarder, which is still a pretty healthy kick.
It is, but it wouldn't have given him this field position, and it's 5 yards easier.
All right, 1st and 10 from the 44. Elway rifles downfield. Anthony Miller caught from behind down at the 15 by Mark Collins. 41-yard pass play. So on 1st down, they go to the big play.
Okay, Anthony, you're running more balls thrown your way. You're getting them, and you're making them pay off, too. Denver going for more. They have their empty backfield again. Nobody back here but John Elway. Right down the middle, they have 2 safeties on defense. Kansas City's done it the entire day. Well, the hole obviously is in the middle between the 2 safeties. That's where Anthony Miller found himself.
3rd catch, 87 yards in all, and a 1st down at the Kansas City 15. 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Elway able to find Sharpe. Stiff arms his way, and a penalty flag is thrown. Brian Washington and James Hasty getting involved with Shannon Sharpe.
Very close call there, but the officials are getting tougher as a result of some of the earlier encounters.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Number 29 defense, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Well, that's Brian Washington. Called for the late hit out of bounds.
Washington, number 29. Play is over. Really right on the sideline, but things are getting a little testy out there, and the officials are going to keep this under control the way they should. Nobody going to be injured on a play like that. It's just the intent. And I tell you what you're seeing on this drive right here. After the chipping down the field, the cutting down the field, Denver coming right back, not getting conservative, eating up the clock. They're going after more points. Could be a result of some of the tension.
1st and goal down at the 4. McCaffrey in motion. And the hole opens up for Craver, who is short of the goal line, covered up by Brian Washington. You make an interesting point. What you're saying is they're going, not that they would not go look to score, but could you see Denver being upset enough with Kansas City to try to run up the score?
No, this is not running up the score. It's in the 3rd quarter, but going into almost a 2-minute situation type of an offense, as opposed to just grinding it out, getting this game over with, you've got the lead.
And here is Craver, touchdown. Aaron Craver with his 2nd touchdown of the season, the previous one as a pass receiver. And the Denver Broncos add 6 more, and they are now up 30-7.
Just up and over the top. In training camp, they practice this by piling all the dummies right here, letting the running backs jump over the pile and land on the dummies. All he has to do is clear the plane of the goal line. Touchdown.
Jason Elam adding the extra point. 2:09 remaining. third quarter. It is 31-7 Denver. Sam, as we take a look at the replay, I'm not sure I follow. You say they're not running up the score, but they go to a 2-minute offense at this stage in the third quarter.
Well, when I say they're not running up the score, there's too much time left to be saying that's enough scoring. So you're not running up the score. But it's human nature. You're a football player down there. Your players, you feel, have been attacked down the field with the cut blocks. You get together on that sideline and say, let's go get them, guys. Let's go out there and get some more points and make them pay for
I can
the
understand.
intimidation factor.
I absolutely can understand it, but we may have, you mentioned things getting testy, we could see more extracurricular activity here in the fourth quarter.
I think so. You're not going to see the Kansas City Chiefs give in right here. I'll tell you, not under Marty Schottenheimer they're not. So there's going to be a quarter and 2:09 of tough football left. 31-7 is not the end of the game. You can get back in a game like this. You need a couple of quick scores, though. Really what you need is a couple of quick scores and a turnover or two. So that means that when Kansas City's on defense, they're going to be going after the ball, trying to strip it loose.
Couple of quick scores, a turnover, and someone up above looking very charitably
maybe I was
at Kansas City. All right, Jerome Woods is back deep now. Vanover shake it up. So Woods, the rookie from Memphis, who was returning kicks for most of the season, is back. It's picked up, though, by one of the upmen, Todd McNair. And McNair able to run it across the 30-yard line, a 16-yard return. A reminder tonight on Dateline, you go in for routine surgery, but then the unthinkable happened. Kansas City Chiefs, 1st and 10 at the 31. Danon Hughes is to the right, and Chris Penn at the bottom of your screen to the left. And Bono's pass incomplete, intended for Anders, covered by Romanowski.
Kansas City into their 2-minute type offense. They've got a tight end in the game. They keep a running back in the backfield, but 3 wide receivers. Marcus Allen has been pretty much taken out of this ball game because of the come from behind nature of it from Kansas City's standpoint.
And Marcus not able to get anything going. 7 carries, 20 yards. On the sideline at this moment, 2nd down and 10. Play action. Looks like Bono slipped. McNair for a couple yards. This has been the pattern for Kansas City. They had that one sustained drive that concluded on the field goal attempt by Stoyanovich from 54 yards out. And they are in the hurry-up now with 1:35 to go in this third quarter. 3rd and 8. And that is thought a bit too hard for Reggie Johnson and perhaps slightly behind him.
You know, in the first ball game, Kansas City was 50% on 3rd down. And that is tremendous percentage. I don't know what it is right now, but it is not very good. This is the 5th time they've been 3 and out, though, in this half.
And Louis Aguiar will punt for the 7th time. Ron Smith is back. It's a tough catch by Smith, who was immediately tackled, and the flag comes flying. Joe Horn was all over Ron Smith, who was in traffic, yet able to make the catch. He's had just an excellent day. Rod Smith back returning punts for the first time this season. Been out with a broken collarbone, made his return last week as a wide receiver, replacing Todd Kinchin, who was inactive today.
Smith was the punt returner in training camp. He was their #1 guy. Then with the injury occurred to his collarbone, Todd Kitchen came in and took over and did a good job except for the fumbles. He was catching the ball well and making nice runbacks, but he had 5 fumbles in the last 7 ball games. That won't keep your job.
Yes, actually averaging 11 yards per return. Broncos have recovered all but 1 of those fumbles, but it was a bit too much of an adventure for Mike Shanahan.
Well, it had not cost them a game, but Mike Shanahan wanted to make sure that he corrected the problem before he did.
Well, the officials are
Kicking team not giving the receiver full opportunity to make the catch. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the catch.
Oh, that was called on Horn. It's amazing that Smith is able to make this catch.
Ball is in the air a long time. Smith is I don't think he even knows there's anybody closing on him. His concentration is totally on the ball. You've got to give the punt returner an opportunity to catch. The ball actually gets in there. Some of the terms are a little tough. You know, it's all judgment by the official. Does he have an opportunity? Even if he makes the catch, you still may not have given him a fair opportunity to do so.
The Broncos will start this drive at their 28-yard line. In what has been a very long game, particularly for Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs. We still have 1:20 remaining in the third quarter. And it's Terrell Davis bottled up once again. Next Saturday, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, tune into NBA Special, the greatest ever. You can join host Ahmad Rashad as we take a look at the greatest NBA players ever. Who will make that top 50 list? Next Saturday, right here on NBC. This all in conjunction with the 50th anniversary season of the NBA that will get started on Friday night. 2nd and 10 at the 28-yard line. 31-7. Denver leading Kansas City as this third quarter winds down, and here come the flags.
Vaughn Booker jumped across the line. Now the question is, was he drawn off? Totally different approach in this drive, Marv, as opposed to the last one. This time, traditional running.
Offside, number 99, defense unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, second down.
See if we can hear Elway draw them with a hard count. You know, if you've got the snap count, a normal count, and then you run two of them closely together, and of course you throw it up a little notch in your voice, inflection, it draws the defensive linemen. They're supposed to watch the ball, but let me tell you, they listen to that quarterback.
Well, 2 penalties the last 3 plays. 2nd down and 5 at the 33-yard line. And Neil Smith was right on Terrell Davis. Very quick move by the left defensive end, Neil Smith, a man who has made the Pro Bowl 5 straight years. Been an injury-hit season for Neil. Ankle problems with his shin. This third quarter coming to a close. After 3 here at Mile High, Broncos had a 17-7 lead after 1. In all, John Elway has thrown 3 touchdown passes. The other TD scored by Aaron Craver to cap off a drive. Here's Elway finding the receiver. Rod Smith had very little room to operate and was right on target. Mark Collins making the stop. That's the first catch of the day for Smith.
Not just a punt returner. Lines up in that 5-receiver set, coming on the slant play. All the receivers turn to the inside, and what you're looking for is the first guy that finds a hole between linebackers.
And a first down. Gary Kubiak, offensive coordinator. One time and a long time backup quarterback here in Denver.
Don't knock backup quarterback.
Why do you think I knocked him? I just said the word backup.
You were inhaling like you were going.
Terrell Davis breaking one for the first time today. Run out by Mark Collins. 25-yard run by Davis.
You knew it was going to happen eventually. They have been feeding him the ball off the left side. Now just man blocking. Every blocker has a defender on him. 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got him squared up. Now Terrell Davis just picks the hole. He stretches it, gets everything wide. They're not trying to knock people backwards. They're trying to stretch it so there are gaps between the tacklers. And Terrell Davis finds the widest one and runs on up the field.
And makes the stat line look a bit more impressive with that run. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. And again, it's Davis. And again, he finds the hole. Has terrific instincts, although Kansas City's done a good job on him. Anthony Davis made the stop. There's been so much written on the national scene about Davis, who's been bothered by migraine headaches, severe migraines, and he's telling us the other day he's received all kinds of bizarre remedies. Some of the suggestions, magnets should be placed on his eyelids.
They always work for me.
Yeah, something that you could go for. Hot tea bags placed on his head.
I did that this morning.
Several others that we cannot mention.
Stay above the net, would you?
Second down and 4 at the 26-yard line, and Craver with a rare opportunity to carry the football. Neil Smith made the stop. That's only the second time that Craver has run with it. The other time he was able to take it in from a yard out for a touchdown.
You can feel the tempo of the offense for Denver slowing down just a little bit. They aren't trying to kill the clock necessarily. They just want to use all of the 40 seconds right now. You eliminate maybe 3 or 4 plays over the course of a quarter. With the lead, you want to just finish this game off that way.
7th play of the drive. 3rd and 3 at the Chiefs' 25. Davis splashing his way for the first down.
John Elway snapped the ball with 2 seconds left. Gave the ball to the NFL's leading off the left side in the same blocking scheme. Everybody match up on the man in front of you, widen the holes, and let Terrell Davis find the widest void and cut up the field. Here he comes. There it is. Breaks through. You know, he is such a, we keep saying he's got instincts. He's also got balance, and he doesn't concede the tackle. You've got to take him. Rarely does one man take him down.
First down at the 20. 11:45 remaining, 4th quarter. And it's Davis finding holes and now running the way the KC Chiefs saw him in that earlier meeting in Arrowhead.
Play. Joe Phillips looks like Habib, down on the field for Denver. That was the same play. They just repeated the last one.
Right guard Brian Habib being checked over, and we'll take this time out. Denver's starting right guard Brian Habib now over at the sideline, replaced by David Diaz-Infante. Denver's offensive line once again today has been outstanding. Gary Zimmerman, Mark Schlereth on the left side, the center Tom Nalen. On the right side, Brian Habib and Roderick Thompson. They have played so well. 2nd and 4 at the 14-yard line. Elway off the play fake comes sliding.
Busted play. Terrell Davis went the wrong way. Looked like it was a counter play for the end of the quarterback. Best thing for a quarterback to do if the running back goes the wrong way, he wants him to go this way eventually, a sidestep and come back. He doesn't come back. So the best thing to do is run where the blocking is taking place. And he's got enough room. The next best thing is don't get hit.
Lost the yard. 3rd down and 5 at the 15. Does Mike Shanahan say next series begin to think maybe I should get Elway out of there, bring on Bill Musgrave? All right, here's Davis, able to break a tackle. Stiff breaks another.
If Mike Shanahan hasn't already said it, one of the other coaches I am sure has brought the subject up, because the scores, especially if they score right here, not only to prevent a possible injury to John Elway, but to give some experience for the backup quarterbacks.
It is a 4th down and 1. And Terrell Davis took a shot, looking a little dazed as he heads to the Denver sideline.
You know, we might see the same thing. Not only John Elway being so important to that offense, Terrell Davis is awfully important to that offense as well. Just a good, clean shot, helmet to helmet, though, and you wake up wondering what city you're in.
Hard hit by Brian Washington. So the number is on Davis, 21 carries, 76 yards. When we resume, a 4th and 1. 10 minutes, 19 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Crowd, as always, wants the home team to go for the touchdown, but little goal unit checking in. Jason Elam with a 29-yard attempt. He's hit 1 of 2, connected from 40, missed from 48. And he is 8 for 11 for the season. 9 to 12. Broncos 34, Chiefs 7. You're watching the NFL on capacity crowd, 76,000. They have certainly enjoyed what they have seen. The Denver Broncos gunning for a record of 7-1, best mark in the AFC, and they have handled the Kansas City Chiefs with ease. They now lead it 34-7. The kick return by Jerome Woods, and he submarined across the 25-yard line, a 24-yard return. Next week, the NFL on NBC will feature doubleheader action. The San Diego Chargers look to get back on track against Captain Comeback Jim Harbaugh and the Colts in a rematch of last year's wild card playoff game. And then the Super Bowl champion coaches will match up. Dan Marino and the Ducks meeting Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots in Foxborough. Doubleheader, the NFL on NBC next week. Check your local listings for the games in your area. From the 27-yard line. And that pass over the head of Hughes, covered by Darius Johnson.
This has been a game of Kansas City not making plays, and there's the final. Dallas over Miami. But this is a game where Kansas City has just not made a big play. The game plan be that much different than the first time they played, a 17-14 3-point difference, and they come out here and it looks like Denver is far superior today to Kansas City.
And Denver got it going early with that 46-yard touchdown pass Elway to Sharpe. Pass intended for Penn again by Johnson, so they're going right at the rookie from Oklahoma, the 4th-round draft pick, Darius Johnson.
But you've got to execute. Here's that matchup right here. Just an inside pattern. Freezes back to the inside, and the ball is thrown so far behind. That looked like a training camp throw. One of those when you're trying to get your timing down. You know you're going to be off the mark about half the time. That one was way off the mark.
3rd and 10 at the 27-yard line. Well, the word on Terrell Davis, who took a pretty good shot on that last series, is okay. Will not return because must-see comedies, Third Rock from the Sun, followed by Boston Common, plus the world premiere of The Secret She Carried. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows today, as is Rod Smith, who is back deep at the 25-yard line. So for next time, Kansas City has gone 3 and out. Aguiar angling, Smith with the return. And he's taken down at the 34-yard line, 43-yard punt, and a 4-yard return. And let's see how the Broncos handle it. From John Elway. Bill Musgrave in his 5th season out of Oregon, spent 4 years with the 12 passes. So the final numbers on Elway, 16 of 31. He just falls short of 300 for what that means, because he had another excellent day. 286 yards. He had 3 straight games of 300 or more. 3 touchdowns and intercepted once, and also ran for a career-high 60 yards.
What they pay him to do, and that's win football games. 23 first downs while he was in that ball game against 8 for Kansas City. Longer talking to her.
Doubleheader. First, Jim Harbaugh and the Colts clash with the San Diego Chargers. Then Dan Marino leads Jimmy John's Dolphins against Bill Sells' Patriots, or the Vikings host the Chiefs, or regional action. The NFL on NBC next Sunday.
Sprained right knee. Was able to walk off without any help, but he will not return. And the new quarterback, the Denver Broncos, Bill Musgrave, who has thrown just 1 pass this season, 0 for 1, coming in, and he's taken over for John Elway.
49ers really thought a lot of him. Thought he might be the guy to take over that job as a starter. Neil Dowling, who was player personnel with the 49ers, is now player personnel director for the Broncos. That's how Bill Musgrave arrived here.
And he starts from the 34-yard line, going to Vaughn Hebron. So Terrell Davis also threw for the day after taking a hard hit from Lionel Washington. Terrell Davis with that one good run, and with 78 yards, 76 yards on 21 carries. Second down and 9 at the 35-yard line. Bill Musgrave, a native of Grand Junction, Colorado. Behind Elway, Jeff Lewis is the third string, the emergency quarterback, and that pass is intercepted. So Musgrave, throwing only his second pass of the season, is picked off by the strong safety, Brian Washington. A very nice one-handed reception by Washington, and that's his first intercept of the season.
Bill Musgrave broke a cardinal. You never roll out of the pocket and throw back to the middle. Too many people are following and falling under the throw. You can't see them all because they're running sideways. They're not running in the traditional drops. Ball is thrown back across the middle, one hand. Brian Washington, very nice. Sound like you, Mark.
That's scary.
This is worrying me, I'll tell you.
And annoying. First down at the 34-yard line. Bono, it is dropped. Dropped by Kimball Anders. There have been a number of Kansas City drops.
I pay too many compliments on a team playing this way, but this is a better football team than we're seeing today. They are not doing anything right on this afternoon, though.
Oh, it's been an awful performance by the Chiefs, and we're told that is their fourth drop pass. Denver will make it 7-1. The best start since 1989, while the Chiefs will fall to 5-3. Bono trying to get it away to avoid the sack. Dan Williams putting the pressure on. It was intended for Todd McNair. Looking ahead for both Denver and Kansas City. Difficult schedule for the Broncos following today. They play 5 of their last 8 games on the road. Weekend, Oakland, a Monday night game, then home for Chicago, followed by games at New England, at Minnesota, and then Seattle and Green Bay. Kansas City in the middle. Also a tough go. Next week they play at Minnesota, then home for Green Bay, Chicago, and San Diego. A hard throw by Bono, and this time it is held on by Joe Horn. Darius Johnson made the stop. So Kansas City, Minnesota next week. And then home games against Green Bay, Chicago, and San Diego. They play at Detroit and then at Oakland. It is a 4th and about a yard. And Bono picks up the first down and some more inside the 20. Sean LaChapelle, Atwater, and James combined to make the stop.
And they're looking at that schedule. Both teams, tough for both teams. That's why this game was so important to win.
And the Chiefs in the hurry-up, 7.5 inning in the 4th quarter. And Bono able to complete once again to LaChapelle.
Denver will have a 2-game lead after this game over Kansas City. And with, the AFC West is a tough division anyway. The Raiders are out of it. San Diego. Seattle is going to be chasing, but this 2-game spread right here, too early, it's the difference, but it means that Kansas City is in a dead chase from here on out.
Denver will go 7-1. Kansas City 5-3 for that 2-game lead. And only loss earlier this season in Kansas City. Bono couldn't find anyone, and now throws for the end zone off the mark. And it for the tight end, Keith Cash, covered by Steve Atwater.
When he had him open, too, and he did a good job buying time. Protection held up long enough for him to work somebody open down. But this is the way Kansas City's day has gone. They can do enough right to get in position to make a play, and then they can't finish it off. At least they haven't finished it off today. This is how much he missed on that throw. That's not even close.
Goes astray, but a penalty flag is down. Ray Crockett providing the coverage on Joe Horn.
Number 53, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that is
correction. Half the distance to the goal.
All right, strong
automatic
side
first down.
linebacker Romanowski called on the penalty. Now, Sam, let me ask you this. If you're Marty Schottenheimer, and if you are given the opportunity to play running time from here on in to just get out of here, would he accept it?
Now you're going to ask me a tough. I tell you what, the thing that goes wrong if you do that is you leave an impression with your football team that you gave up prior to the end of the ball game. The smart thing to do, though, really is to do cut down on your injuries, start out the next time. You're not going to win this ball game today.
And Bono's pass off the mark. Sam, you're treating this like that could really happen. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm maybe running for office someday to play the middle of the fence there.
But we still have 6:56 remaining.
I mean, if you're standing up here in the booth, like you probably run this thing out, and you get off the field, you get on back, and you regroup. But I don't think Marty Schottenheimer is going to send a message to the team that he concedes this game ever, no matter what the score, until the whistle blows at the end.
And obviously, he's looking ahead to try and work some ways as he looks down the road for other opportunities. He's able to look at some players like Joe Vaughn has been getting an opportunity, and that pass incomplete. And Andrews, the intended receiver.
Well, you look at some players, but you're really, that's not in there in the game. You're putting them in the game to get your front line players for the game. Cut down their exposure to injury. You're going to need them next week when the score is 0-0 at kickoff time.
It is a 3rd and 5. And Marcus Allen will continue the chase of Walter Payton and will eventually surpass him in terms of most prolific touchdown runner of all time, one shy of tying Payton rushing TDs. Bono to the end zone. It is intercepted. And the Kansas City drive is stopped by Ray Crockett, who comes up with his first interception of the season.
Now Denver will help in that decision that you wanted me to make for Marty Schottenheimer, because they're going to run some time off this clock series. Look at just the body language of the players as they leave the field. The Kansas City players, helmets in hand, heads up. Very tough day for them. Here's the play. A scramble again to the right. Finds some more time. Threw this one into coverage. Ray Crockett. Don't run it out. Take a knee. There you go.
So they bring it out to the 20. The numbers on Bono of 46, 204 yards, and he was picked off twice. Now the handoff to Hebron. Out across the 25-yard line, stopped by Dale Carter. You know, you look at these two clubs, and they're actually contrasting philosophies in terms of the way the two coaches approach practice during the course of the week.
Marty Schottenheimer, more of the old school on Wednesday. You see the 2 hard days, a lot of hitting, just like a game situation. Mike Shanahan, on the other hand, only puts the pads on for 5 minutes on Thursday. There's no pads on Wednesday and no pads the rest of the practice on Thursday or Friday. Full speed practices, but no hitting.
Out again. And the first down. Neil Smith making the stop. Along with Donnie Edwards. Mike Shanahan has done a terrific job in helping to turn things around here in Denver in his second year as head coach of the Broncos. Second of 7-year contract, which is most unusual. He had been the Broncos offensive coordinator in the past. Most recently, offensive coordinator in San Francisco, and had that brief and unhappy run as the head coach of the Raiders. First down at the 31. Again, Musgrave hands it off, and the problem was fumbled and recovered. Kansas City. Vaughn Booker on the ball off the mix-up between Hebron and Musgrave.
I don't think Von Hebron ever had the ball this time. Straight handoff. Puts the ball high. You see it's up the upper part of the number. The ball's got to go into the plate. The receiver, the running, is going to take the ball down low. When you put it up high, it hits the shoulder pads, which come down about halfway down your chest cavity there. bounces right off. You know, we talk about the practice schedule. The 49ers practice that way. They did during the season. And, of course, Mike Shanahan came through too.
And Bono going incomplete. Intended for Kimball Anders.
Ball was tipped.
The president of the Denver Broncos at Poland. And who gave Mike Shanahan the 7-year deal.
Poland has certainly done everything he can for the coaches here, going right to the cap, paying players to be on that football field. In like so many cities, as Bono passed away by Carter. But like in so many cities, the stadium issue is just part of football today, and they're discussing it in Denver as well, with Pat Bowlen being a nicer stadium. This is the 30th revenue-producing stadium in the National Football, meaning the last. It's the produces the least money. Says he will not that football team. The Broncos are here as long as he's there, but can't make a profit here and has to sell, then can't guarantee the next guy does.
It is a 3rd and 10 at the 28-yard line. And this is Todd McNair. We've been talking about Dateline coming up here on NBC. The way the game has been going, we still have 5 minutes to go, 4th quarter. We could run into the Today Show tomorrow morning.
Could we, like, you know, maybe superimpose us standing on the street corner there waving and with a sign or something?
Absolutely. And it has been a very long day and early evening for Mark Allen and the rest of the Kansas Chiefs. Trailing 34-7. Bono has now thrown 48 passes, career high 55. Make it 49. This one is completed to Keith Cash, trying to pull away.
That was on 4th down, and they'll turn it over to Denver.
And Tyrone Braxton holding on to the leg of Cash. So the Broncos will take over on downs. NBC tonight, following the Chiefs this contest. We now roll up on 4 minutes in the 4th quarter. And it's Hebron as we take a look at scores from around the NFL. Seattle able to defeat San Diego 32-13, 146 yards on the ground for Warren. The Jets win their first of the season. 1 up and 8 down. Washington continues to surprise as they easily knocked off the Indianapolis Colts. San Francisco squeaking by Houston. Their final scores: Pittsburgh beating Atlanta. Philadelphia over Carolina. So the only winless team that remains. Green Bay had a tough time with Tampa Bay. Hebron runs inside the 30. Tackled by Hasty.
When you're a regular back and you get a chance to break loose into that secondary, do you turn it on? That was a foot race. James Hasty just a little faster. Good blocking up. Runs it just like a starter would. And now it's a race. He has to change his direction a little bit because he's got chasers from both sides. You know, the one thing that's a coach I always bother me a little bit late in the game when a game is over like this is somebody going not full speed. That's when you get everybody out there. 22 players still have to play full speed on these last few plays.
48-yard run by Hebron. The call once again. Mike Shanahan says that one ever hits the hole going 100 miles per hour. Has that acceleration.
3 right there.
Right. Missed all of last season. The Philadelphia Eagles due to a knee injury. Coming into today, it carried only 10 times.
Got practice all week. They work just as hard as the starters do. They just don't work on Sunday as a rule. When they get in like this, they're working hard.
Mike Sharpe to the right. 87, McCaffrey in motion. And again, with the hole. And able to pick another Denver first down. It brings us to the 2-minute warning. 8 carries, 74 yards for Vaughn Hebron. We'll be right back. His record 548 yards total offense, 502 more today. So the last 2 weeks, 1,050 and counting.
How about this? 200 of them are on the ground today. 120 of that 216 rushing yards today in the fourth quarter. So when they decided they were going to eat that clock up a little bit with a controlled drive, they're sure doing it. 120 yards rushing in the fourth quarter.
2 minutes remaining. Broncos 4-7 over the Chiefs, and now will run it out.
This is a smart thing to do. It's a gesture in some ways from one coach to another that the game is done. Respect the we're going ahead winners here, and we're going to get it over with. And you don't have any chance of a free kick. It's what I mentioned earlier. You get like this, you go at different speeds. Some players are playing that 100 miles an hour speed. Vaughn Hebron and others are playing a little bit less, and injuries happen.
Sam, this one of those games, although as you mentioned earlier, things could happen. There are miraculous comebacks. I never had the feeling Kansas was in it. Right from the start. Early on the Elway to Sharpe, 46-yard touchdown pass to make it 7-0, and Elam field goal extended to 10-zip. And then Vanover brought him back on the 97 kick return, but then it was another Elway to Sharpe TD pass. Elway to Mike Gerard in the second quarter, extending to 24. Mike Gerard, his first touchdown pass as a Denver Bronco. Then Craver capped off a drive, taking it in from a yard out, and then Elam with a 29-yard field goal for the 7 score. And we're 38, 37.
You're right. They never have really been in this one. Speaking as a coach, you never give up hope, though. You can turn it around at some point during the game, but Kansas City just couldn't do it today.
Denver Broncos go to 7-1. Best record in the AFC. Kansas City Chiefs 5 up and 3 down, and head back home next week. They'll hit the road again, playing at Minnesota. Well, next week the Denver Broncos will Raiders in a Monday night game at Oakland. So Broncos, it is their best start since 1989. A bit easier today. In 3 of the previous 4 wins, Denver had to come from behind, but not the case here against Kansas City. John Elway, with fine performance. 3 touchdown passes, didn't hit the 300 mark in pass yards, but also did around 286 yards in all.